have a microphone and you don't. So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
This is the Mike Rutherford Show on the Big X.
Sportos, motorheads, geek bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Welcome to the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday, October 23rd. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. Coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios here in the heart of almost weekend-ready Louisville, Kentucky. Cards fans, if you're looking for a competitive advantage in today's data-driven world, look no further than earning your master's in business analytics from the University of Louisville, which you can now accomplish in just 12 months. You'll delve into the world of analytics and data visualization, learning essential tools like R, Python, Power BI, and, of course, machine learning, and more. These classes are now available both online or in person. To get started or to learn more, visit business.louisville.edu today. We're on the air from 2:32 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, airing live on WBNA Channel 21, streaming live on YouTube and other places. You know us better as the Big X. It's Mike Rutherford. It's Roman Kelly. It's a Thursday edition of the show, and we got lots of stuff to get to. It does sort of feel like the calm before the storm. We've got hoops tomorrow versus Kansas. We got the football team back in action with a playoff elimination game. I'm going to keep saying it, against Boston College with homecoming weekend here this Saturday. And we got all sorts of stuff happening nationally. I planned on starting today's show by talking about how, the bizarre but incredible experience of watching Victor Wembanyama play basketball last night. But there's another NBA story that's going to have to demand our attention at the beginning of today's show. We'll get to it momentarily. Before we do that, we say hi to our guy, Roman Kelly. You heard him on Running with Roman. You hear him every day after the show on the Ticket Punchers. Roman, how are you, buddy?
Doing all right, Mike. Didn't get enough sleep last night, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
But got in the gym today, did my workouts today. I'm feeling all right. Ready to talk about how we're going to look tomorrow. Ready to talk about how we're going to get this win on Saturday.
Why didn't you get enough sleep last night? Just no reason in particular?
I had to watch NBA all night.
Oh.
Actually, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I got access to the Timberwolves League Pass login.
Oh. Look at you.
So, of course, I was watching highlights all night.
Understandable. It's a big day in the NBA. Not necessarily because we're coming off of the first real extensive night of action in the 2025-2026 season, but because we are talking about the FBI once again delving into the world of basketball, this time at the professional level, and making, 4 arrests now at this point? And not just
4.
It's 4 now, right?
I thought it was 30.
Well, I meant with basketball affiliates.
Oh, yeah.
31 total people.
Yeah. 40 notable.
4 notable basketball figures.
So far.
Around here, most notable for the fact that Terry Rozier, the former Cardinal turned now Miami Heat guard, was arrested Thursday morning, just hours after the Heat opened their season with a loss to the Orlando Magic, a game in which Terry did not play in due to a quote-unquote coach's decision. Terry Rozier now behind bars because of his affiliation with some alleged, again, still alleged at this point, gambling issues. Let's just read the. I assume you talked about this on Running with Roman. I didn't get a chance to listen on the way in.
Yes,
I assume you did. But for those who didn't hear, for those who are just kind of catching up on the story, I mean, this is madness, right?
Absolutely ridiculous.
This is absolutely nuts. Every single story, and the fact that we're talking about cases.
Chauncey's story might be crazier.
I think Chauncey's story is the craziest. We're going to get there in a second. But I mean, the fact that these cases are not necessarily tied together is also ridiculous. But here are the highlights of the FBI's details, the release of details around the sports gambling bust that took place this morning. 1, Current and former NBA players, including Chauncey Billups, now the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, right?
Yes.
Terry Rozier, as previously mentioned, and Damon Jones, who most recently, I think, played for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, with LeBron.
Were all arrested.
We've known he's a gambler.
Yeah, I mean, and Terry's been under surveillance for a year. We heard about this. By the way, the NBA not looking great for clearing him.
Terry's just an idiot, man, because I don't think he's a gambler.
Yeah, we'll get to the details in just a second. It does feel like, what are you doing, man? This was an illegal gambling and sports rigging operation that spanned years across reportedly 11 states. In total, 31 individuals have now been arrested, including 13 mafia members. The case involves La Cosa Nostra. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Or La Cosa Nostra? The Italian mafia, which I didn't know still was around.
You know it's around.
You don't hear about the mafia. You don't know what's going on.
You knew it was around.
There's no mafia newsletter out there. I don't know who's still thriving and who's not. I don't have those ties, Roman. I don't have that. I can't just call somebody and say, hey.
See, in my head, every time you say, I was golfing with some buddies, that's what I'm picturing.
Well, I don't golf that much anymore, so maybe that's the issue. I golfed 3 times this year. So, I couldn't have told you what was going on with La Cosa Nostra or Nostra. But apparently they're still around and thriving, I guess, if they're involved in this whole thing. Charges involved in these cases include illegal gambling, wire fraud, and extortion. There are 2 separate incidents that we're talking about. The first involves 6 defendants that are accused of participating in a sports corruption scheme that exploited insider information involving NBA players and teams. This is where Terry Rozier is involved.
Just like John Tate Porter.
Exactly. The defendants leveraged their connections to place prop bets based on confidential insider information, winning tens of thousands of dollars per bet. We'll get to the details there in just a second. The second case involves 31 defendants that are charged with participating in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. They used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from rich victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. This is the case that involves Chauncey Billups and Damon Johnson. The 2 cases are separate, but they have overlapping defendants, including former NBA player and coach Damon Jones. He's involved in everything.
Yeah, I can't even put a word on what it is, Mike. He's not a clean acting guy.
So here's what's being levied against Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier apparently, on March 23rd, 2023, told the defendants, assumingly some family members and friends or whoever, or mafia member, who the hell knows, that he was going to leave a game early. He's like, make wagers on my unders because I'm pulling myself out of this game with an injury. The defendants then placed more than $200,000 of wagers on the unders for his prop bets, with Rozier leaving the game after 9 minutes. All of the bets paid out. They paid out tens of thousands of dollars in profits, and the defendants and Rozier reportedly counted the money at his house. This is where I'm like, all right, man. You could have. How brash are you? You're counting the money of your illegal gambling winnings at your house? If you're going to engage in something like this, you got to make sure that your house isn't the money counting house. That's step 1. You distance yourself from this as much as, what are you doing, Terry?
Yeah.
The FBI also says that former Raptors player John Tate Porter was threatened to participate in this same sports gambling scene because of his gambling debts. This has been a rumor for a while. The FBI is now coming out and saying, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Teams that were bet on during the sports gambling scheme include the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trailblazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Raptors. Unfortunately, the FBI person doing the press conference referred to them as the Toronto Rangers. Very confidently, by the way, the Toronto Rangers. It was a bad moment. The FBI doesn't handle these sports press conferences all that well. The rigged poker games occurred in the Hamptons, Miami, Las Vegas, and Manhattan. The poker scheme targeted victims who were lured to participate in rigged poker games by the chance to play alongside high-profile former professional athletes. This includes Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. The FBI says the defendants utilized altered shuffling machines to read the cards in the deck and then relayed the information to an offsite operator. The offsite operator, who was known as, quote, the quarterback, then sent that information to someone at the table. The FBI also says the defendants utilized cheating technologies, including poker chip trays that read cards through hidden cameras, special contact lenses, and glasses that could read marked cards, as well as X-ray poker tables that could read cards face down. The FBI says that the defendants robbed a victim at gunpoint to acquire a rigged shuffling machine.
What?
I mean, I'm so nice. I thought that this stuff only happened in movies. And apparently it's very real. The sports gambling investigation is called, I mean, this is so ridiculous. The gambling investigation is being termed by the FBI as, quote, Operation Nothing But Net. Just kill me. And the poker investigation is being called Operation Royal Flush. Why do they have to act like they're on a 90s crime sitcom?
They basically are.
And then what was the exact quote from the press conference where referring to Terry, where she said, oh God, I got to find the exact quote now before I keep going. Come on. Here we go. The exact quote. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched. Not for injury, but for integrity. Shades of the college basketball, we've got your playbook press conference, where that guy ended up getting fired by Trump like 2 weeks later, and then nobody got in any sort of trouble. I mean, not saying that this is going to go the same way, but we don't have to have these like zippy one-liners. Who's doing the writing over there? Maybe this is part of the government shutdown.
It probably is.
The actual writers aren't there. The FBI has been working on this investigation for 4 years. It includes victims that have lost at least $7 million. One specific victim lost at least $1.8 million. The FBI reviewed thousands of hours of video evidence and executed more than 24 search warrants. These are just accusations at this point, but the FBI says this investigation is still ongoing. Now, one of the wildest parts about this...
Claim your locked up profit boost now on ESPN Bet.
Did you see that where they were talking about this and they had the yes. ESPN Bet, and then someone quickly was like, "Get that off there, get that off," and it just mysteriously disappears from the bottom. I mean, what a world we're living in. So the poker game thing. I retweeted this. Somebody went back. I don't even know how they remember something like this, but there was a video. There was this guy on Reddit who's a professional poker player, and he had this long, I guess he has a podcast, or he was a guest on a podcast, and he had this long spiel 2 years ago talking about an illegal poker game that was, in his words, organized by Chauncey Billups. And did they delete the tweet? Because I retweeted it earlier. Maybe it just disappeared, shockingly. But this guy, he talks for like 4 minutes about how these shady people keep inviting professional gamblers to their game. And he's like, my ear's always up with this sort of thing. And I get friends that I know who are like, no, man, these people are good. They're on the up and up. And he's like, I know a lot of what's going on right now. And I'm telling you right now, this is not on the up and up. So he had friends go to this poker game, and they just get cleaned out. Like, they just get destroyed. And he's talking about these players had no idea what they're doing. They're they're going all in on big blinds when they've got like cards that have no 7-5 offsuit. And they're not, nothing makes sense. And then all of a sudden they're hitting crazy flushes on the river to win all these hands. He's like, the only people winning are the non-professional poker players, and everybody losing is a professional poker player. And he's like, the craziest thing is I had friends that went back again because they were like, I got to know for sure. These guys clearly don't know what they're doing, but maybe it was just crazy luck. And then they got cleaned out again. And so he was talking about this 2 years ago. So this very clearly was something that happened. I thought this was, like an Ocean's 15 plot. And apparently this is something that really happens. But I mean, we're talking about not just some sort of NBA employee. It's the head coach of one of the NBA teams who was involved in all this and has now been arrested. This is as wild a pro sports story as we've heard in a long time, Roman.
This is, Mike. This is about as wild as it can get in 2025 when there's this many rules and regulations on what these guys can do and the information that's supposed to be confidential and stuff with players and team information. Everybody's sharing all that information. Like, this is just the guys that's getting caught is what's really crazy. They're the ones being dumb enough to all get on FanDuel in the same exact house, in the same exact IP address location, and all wager insane amounts of money. there's guys doing this correctly probably, just one friend at a time, and they're not betting themselves at all, and they're not wagering a lot, right? And there's not going to be a way to catch this. There's not going to be a way to stop it. To stop it. I'm just glad that Chauncey, a coach, isn't on the sports betting side. That would be a really, really bad look for Adam Silver in the NBA. He wouldn't really have a plan of action for that. But luckily, he's just only doing the poker stuff with the Mafia.
What a great line. Luckily, he's only doing the poker stuff with the Mafia. Who would have thought that's the better outcome for the NBA when it comes to one of their employees? At least it's just the Mafia stuff. At least he's not doing stuff with the sports gambling. This is nuts. This whole thing is just outrageous. And so we've had legalized sports gambling, and we still don't have it in every state. It's not like this is a nationwide deal. But most states now have adopted it. How many states are still holding out?
I learned today that there's states that are holding out player props in pro sports on top of college sports. I didn't know. I knew that there was some states that they didn't let you do player props on college sports. I didn't know that there was states that didn't allow in-state player props or in-state team player props, which is really, really smart if you ask me. But apparently there's states that don't allow player props in some.
Well, so there's still 11 states that have no legalized sports betting whatsoever. Do you want to guess what they are?
Maine.
Oh, Maine has legalized sports. They love gambling in Maine. They love it.
South Dakota?
No, they love it in South Dakota. They eat it up in South Dakota.
I have no idea.
Well, I wouldn't either. I'm just asking you to guess.
How many of them?
11.
Really?
Yes.
Oregon?
Oregon has legalized sports gambling. Here they are. Alabama, can't bet down there. Alaska, you want to go see the beautiful environment? Can't gamble. California.
Oh, I knew that.
Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Minnesota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, and Utah. So, not...
Texas is losing out on a lot of money.
What are you doing, Texas? Not 100% down the line when it comes to political leanings. You've got some red states. You got a couple blue states. Just a weird thing. This is why my buddy in Texas is placing $330 bets on Christian Academy versus DeSales high school football games. He's got
doing it on a funky website.
He's got to hit up his guy Alex the Bookie. It's how Alex the Bookie thrives down there. They don't have legalized sports betting, but most states at this point do. But this has only been around for a handful of years. You've already had a number of high-profile cases in the NBA. You've had a couple of relatively high-profile cases in other sports. I don't know what you do. Here's the only thing that came to my mind when I was thinking about the Terry Rozier, and you're more in tune with the sports gambling world than I am. Listen to the Ticket Punchers, 5:30 to 6 every day. What if we just got rid of unders? It sucks, but wouldn't that eliminate? It's much more difficult to fix anything in sports if you don't have the unders, because that's from what we've heard from the cases that have been out there with Porter and now with Terry and with some other cases. It's been on personal gambling where they're like, hey, I'm going to fake an injury, load up on my unders.
I actually wouldn't be mad at pro sport player props only being like plus. You can only take them for 5+ yards, 10+ yards, 20+ yards. You can only get 5 points, 10 points, 15 or 20. If you bet him for 15, he gets 11, that's on you.
I feel like this is an easy fix.
I didn't think about that.
Now,
for player props. Now,
Right, exactly.
You got to be able to bet your unders.
Yeah, totally. Now, you're still going to have the Alex the Bookies of the world out there that I guess you could go through. But you'd have to work for it a lot more with something like that than you would, hey, make some bets on DraftKings. I think you shouldn't have player props at the college level regardless. I think that would be something that would be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Remove all unders on players.
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't fix everything. There were players fixing games for as long as we can remember, just when it came to covering spreads from a team total standpoint. The Boston College scandal, there was a Cal basketball scandal in the 90s. That was before the age of player props. But this would at least take away what we've seen so far in the early sports gambling. But outside of that, what do you do if you're Adam Silver or any other one of these executives having to deal with this and try to figure out a way to combat this? it's not going away. It's not like people are going to see this and just say, well, not trying anymore. Like that was a dumb thing to do. I don't know how you handle this. I don't know what the next step is.
I think it's like you just said, Mike. I think that technically with the cases we've seen have all been player prop unders. Now, it's harder to go make a tip for something you've got to go achieve positively out there, right?
For sure. I mean,
hey, I'm playing more. I'm going to get the looks. You got to go make those shots,
right? Now. And there have been stories about players who have tried to fix games and done so unsuccessfully. It's a lot more difficult to say, like, hey, we're not going to cover 10.5 against Oregon tonight, load up on the Ducks, and then go out there and do it. There've been a number of reports of players that were paid to fix games and then like couldn't do it because it's not the easiest thing in the world to go out there and fix a game when you're one player on a team of 12 or 13. Now, if you have 3 players involved in the thing, then it becomes pretty easy. But like that would make it more difficult. I'm all joking aside because it's not a laughing matter when it comes to Terry Rozier. I hate this for Terry. Obviously, we'll wait and cast final judgment until all the details are confirmed. But he was always someone that I pointed to, and I know I've said this on the show over the years a handful of times. Coaches that were around at the time where he was here, they would say, there's this thing with college athletes where a lot of these kids come from humble beginnings. They come from rough backgrounds, and it's kind of like a contest almost. Like people talk about ex-addicts when they get sober. They have contests about who was the worst and who, this story like really just goes to show how bad it was for me when I was at my lowest. And there's kind of a same thing.
Do the same thing.
Yeah, like I came from just terrible background. Can you believe that I'm here? And coaches would say a lot of the kids that we recruit, they'll overplay it a little bit. Like, they came from like lower middle class homes, but they weren't really in areas of extreme crime. Who was around during those years said, Terry Rozier is the one guy that he came from the absolute worst of the worst and never really played it up, never really talked about it, never really made it part of his image. But, if you haven't read his background, his dad was involved in gangs and was involved in a murder. And there was a point where after his dad went to jail, a rival gang had threatened to, they basically said they were going to kill Terry and the rest of his family when Terry was very young. So he moved out of the area, moved to Shaker Heights, Ohio, moved with his grandma, and ended up, being raised there, still was not in a great situation, like had a very, very terrible background. And he, up until recently, was this great success story about, a kid who did all the right things, worked hard, did his best to stay out of trouble, focused on basketball, and wasn't the most highly touted recruit going to Louisville, and now has had a decade-long NBA career where he's acquired generational wealth. I don't know why that wasn't enough for him. I don't know if he was just trying to show off for friends or something like that, but I don't know if he was in trouble. I mean, Jonte Porter's at least has an explanation. He had bad gambling debts, made a lot of terrible decisions, and felt like he had to do this in order to get back to level.
He was an idiot, so he had to go be a bigger idiot.
Yeah, I don't know why Terry. He made it. Like you did everything that you were supposed to do. You got multiple NBA contracts. You're set for life. Your families are set for life.
Gotta let the guys make it too, Mike.
Yeah, but
got to put the guys on, Mike.
There are other ways to put the guy. You got more than enough money to put everybody in your life on for the rest of their life.
And when you hear that they profited up to $200,000, really, Terry?
That's what I'm saying.
They're not even betting enough for. I mean, if they're associated with you, I guess there's maybe not a setup for all the people betting for them to be getting money from you.
They won tens of thousands of dollars, is the way that it was stated.
I bet you, if you go back in time, obviously that's hindsight's 2020. If he had the right person in his ear saying there's a chance you go to jail unless you just give him the money, he would just give it to him.
Why not? Yeah, if we're talking about wanting to hook your friends up, and again, we don't know these details. We don't know the defendants involved. We're assuming things here. But if it is just friends or family members that he's trying to help out a little bit, get some extra change, if we're just talking about guys making enough money to have like $12,000, like Terry can give you $12,000. Like that's not an issue for him. You can dole out $200,000 of your own money to your friends. Like maybe they feel like that's not, he didn't want to do that. It's not earning. I have no idea why this happened, But I hate it because now, I mean, this is what he's going to be remembered for, assuming that these charges do wind up, holding up. Now, his lawyer did put out a statement and said a long time ago we reached out to these prosecutors to tell them that we should have an open line of communication. They characterized Terry as a subject, not a target. But at 6 a.m. this morning, they called me to tell me that the FBI agents were trying to arrest him in a hotel. It's unfortunate that instead of allowing him to self-surrender, they opted for a quick photo op. They wanted the misplaced glory of embarrassing a professional athlete with a perp walk. That tells you a lot about the motivations in this case. They appear to be taking the word of spectacularly incredible sources rather than relying on actual evidence of wrongdoing. Terry was cleared by the NBA, and these prosecutors revived that non-case. Terry's not a gambler, but he's not afraid of a fight, and he looks forward to winning this fight.
Well, that's good.
We'll see. We'll take a break. When we come back, other big stories from the night from behind us, also known as Wednesday, and some Louisville talk to get to. It's the Mike Rutherford Show. Continues next here on the Big End. late. But Knicks, I get that it's effective. The Knicks are just hard to watch. Just a lot of free throws, a lot of whatever. But they looked good last night. But then I wanted to watch Wemby versus Cooper Flag. I don't even know. Like, there was a moment last night where you're watching. Everyone's seen the sequence where he has the block shot, and then he brings the ball up the floor, then crosses dude up, step back three with the foul for a 4-point play. I mean, you watch a 7'5" dude move like that.
It's not right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of having like sort of like I feel like I'm having an acid flash last night. I'm like, is this real? Is this an actual human being? I can't believe that we live in a world right now where a guy that size is moving like that and looking something. He looks smooth handling the basketball,
comfortable. Looks like he added a few pounds now, so when he puts that shoulder into you, I mean, he had that reverse dunk, bumping Anthony Davis off of him.
He made it looked like, and Anthony Davis was he's the original freak, right? Like he's the 7'1" guy who can dribble and handle and shoot and pass and do all this stuff. He's making Anthony Davis look like the younger cousin playing pickup basketball at a 4th of July cookout. Davis just kind of like had his hands out, like, what do you want me to do against this guy? He does all the things that I did better, and he's like 4 inches taller than I am. There's nothing that I can do.
Yeah.
It was.
And if Anthony Davis can't guard him,
yeah, who can?
I mean, we'll see what Giannis looks like against him, but it's scary hours for the league now. If Wemby and this team can stay healthy, if they get Fox back and stay healthy, they should be able to win enough games to be out of the play-in spot, I think, with that roster. The shooting outside of a couple of, outside of Wemby, Stephon Castle, he looks good when he gets downhill. I don't know about the jumper. Mike, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
He is the best player in the league. I'm not like trying to overreact. It's kind of more so just a take from the end of last season that I felt. He's right up there with Jokic now, right up there with Luka now. Just a matter of time.
I'm listening to the announcing last night, and I like Jay Billis. I think he's some of the issues that people have had with him recently, I agree with. But he's trying to put into context what we're seeing from Victor Wembanyama. And he's like, he looks kind of like blah, blah. He's like, he brings up like Ralph Sampson. I'm like, Ralph Sampson? There's no comparison for what we're seeing from. We've never seen this. It's fine to say that we've never seen this before. You don't have to be like, well, there's a little bit of, he's a mix of Sean Bradley and Ralph Sampson. No, he's not. It's like he's an AI figure. Like when you would create your own guy and you were screwing around in the NBA video games back in the day, like, oh, I'm going to make him 7'7", 60% three-point shooter, handles it, he's fast, 99 shot blocking, and just screw it. Like you're just messing around with your video game.
Comparison.
That's who he is. We've never seen anything like this. And I'm watching that. Like I was in awe of watching him last night. That sequence that I'm talking about, it's one of the wildest things, if not the wildest thing that I've ever seen on a basketball court. Just for seeing somebody that big. We've seen 7'3", 7'4" guys play basketball before.
They don't move like this, Mike.
They've moved like, they're the slowest players in the league. And all they can do is just post up on the block and turn around, and they shoot 50% from 7 or 8 feet out. This guy is running point for them last night. It's madness. The reverse dunk he had where he barely left the floor, I was like, it doesn't look real.
The dribble size ups, he's got counters in his dribble moves now. Like he didn't really have that last year. That was one of his weaknesses, is that trying to create things from the perimeter, getting downhill. If you throw a big enough body on him that can stay in front of him, he doesn't have the moves with the dribbles. He's got all of it now. He can keep his dribble alive and get around you. It's as scary as it gets for an NBA player. That is quite literally as scary as it gets. It's really just, can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, he's on path to being the most dominant player ever.
He was unreal last night. Ant was unreal for the Timberwolves from what I saw. Giannis had a big game for the Bucks. Zion kicked off I'm going to have the best season of my NBA career so far type year with a solid performance. The stars were out last night. It was a good night of NBA. How did our ticket punching do?
Did all right. Hit a couple, one punch, missed a punch. Plus money prop was looking great. I had the Pelicans plus money. They were up for a large portion of that game, but, it's part of it. 1 and 2 night on the official punches.
Okay. Not bad. We've got, obviously, man, I'm just getting blown up by Michigan State fans. They found the Izzo tweet from yesterday, and they are furious.
What are they saying?
I mean, just everything. The classic, like, we Louisville hasn't won a game in a decade in the tournament, and making fun of the scandals and stuff like that. But they are hell bent on, well, you can't do these types of hypotheticals. First of all, it was a throwaway tweet to promo the show from yesterday, right? Sure, Michigan State maybe would have won the tournament if Kenyon Martin didn't break his leg. I think Cincinnati was the best team that year. I think they probably win the national title, but you never know what happens in a tournament. And now they're like, well, if Kalen Lucas didn't get hurt in 2010, you compared Kalen Lucas to Kenyon Martin. Stop. If they canceled the 2020 tournament, we would have won the whole thing. Like, I can't believe you morons are getting this butthurt about Tom Izzo's comments. Like, I'm just getting destroyed. MSU would have smoked that Cincy team. I'm like, I'm not going to get into hypothetical arguments with Michigan State fans about who would have won a game 26 years ago. Just not going to do it. You guys can have your fun. It's fine. It's a throwaway tweet. Get over it. But yeah, the fallout there is still happening. They're also kind of trying. Here's my problem with the people there are a lot of straw man arguments happening right now. Nobody is saying that the league, the NCAA should be allowing this, right? I mean, we said it on this show. It's weird. It feels strange that we've got G League players that put the idea of playing college basketball in the rearview mirror 3 years ago that are now back playing college basketball, but it's the rule. My issue is college coaches having issues with other college coaches that are choosing to utilize the rule. I think that's silly. And also trying to draw a line between foreign-born players that have played professionally in Germany and Greece, and in some cases better leagues than the G League. These coaches are recruiting those guys. How is that different than recruiting American-born players? It's not. It's not. There's no difference whatsoever. So if you're going to allow one thing, then yeah, you legally are going to have to allow the other thing unless you want to go out in court and lose. So if you have an issue with that, I don't have an issue with the coaches not liking the rule. I have an issue with the coaches either implying or stating outright that they don't respect programs that are going after and recruiting these players. And I think it's weird. Kelvin Sampson yesterday has this big kind of where he's sort of backing up Tom Izzo and saying, what are we doing here? This is just ridiculous. He's a finalist for that kid that we were talking about yesterday. He's doing this. He's recruiting a G League player. By the way, that kid cut us from his list. So we have the combination of people getting mad at Louisville for recruiting G League players, and then another group of people that are making fun of Louisville for not getting this specific G League player. It's like, all right, whatever, guys. But we're not the only ones doing this. I do think that it's a bad look for Izzo to have no knowledge that this has been a thing for 6 weeks now and saying that he and his staff just found out about it yesterday. If so, your compliance department's not doing its job. The assistants aren't doing their job. You're not doing your job. And maybe it explains why you haven't won a national championship in 25 years. But the fake outrage, I think, is ridiculous. Be mad at the rule. Take shots at the NCAA. Don't imply that programs aren't doing things, quote-unquote, the right way by utilizing the rule and recruiting these players. Because here's the deal. If these G League players start coming to college basketball and making a huge difference next season, everybody's going to be doing this. Everybody who can is going to be doing this. But I also don't think it's that big of a deal because I don't think that there are that many impact players that were 3-point-per-game guys in the G League that are now going to come play college basketball. London Johnson, I hope he's as good as he can possibly be. I don't think that they're bringing him in to be the cornerstone or one of the cornerstones of the 2026-2027 team. I think he's a piece. I think he's probably a bench piece. And that's what most of these guys who are going to come from the G League are going to be.
If they were good enough to be one of the best players in a conference in college, they probably were good enough to make a difference and get a 2-way contract or a 10-day exhibit.
Or to be a G League starter at the very least, right?
Yeah. To where you are actively potentially going to get called up.
Agreed.
There's a lot more Jay Scrubs in the G League than there is London Johnsons. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, for sure. And, the Jay Scrubs aren't coming back to play college basketball after a couple of years in the G League where they feel like they're right there on the precipice of being an NBA player.
And they got a couple 10-day contracts. They spent time on an NBA floor but never got that contract really, right?
Right.
Still was out there. Still directly out there. So it's not like those guys can come back. I don't understand it. These are kids that they're choosing to go to college instead of overseas is what's really happening.
We all think the rule is weird. We all think that this is probably a step too far. But it is what it is. And we've seen the same cycle now over the last, 5 years or so when it comes to the sweeping changes in college athletics where, the portal, that becomes a thing. You've got coaches that are like, I can't believe this is the world that we live in right now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, all of those coaches are going and recruiting in the portal because they realize they have to. With NIL, Dabo Swing, I'll stop coaching if the players get paid. That's when we know it's not college athletics anymore. Guess what? Everybody's doing NIL, and everyone's trying to do it bigger than everybody else. You may have tried to resist early on. You gave in because you realized it's the only route to winning. And I don't think this is the case, I'll say that again, if this loophole, if you want to call it that, does wind up being a direct path to more success, everybody's going to do it too. Even the coaches that are out there retweeting Tom Izzo and saying, bullseye. Scott Drew weighed in where he was like 100% emoji. Like, put your own words behind it, guys. Come on. I'm fine with having issues with the rule. I'm not having fun with taking shots at Louisville, Santa Clara. No one's coming after Santa Clara for being the first ones to do this. Houston, BYU, Mississippi State, or whoever else is trying to exploit this. Come on.
I wish it would have been Houston first instead of Santa Clara.
I'd love to see Tom Izzo take a run.
Dan Hurley would already have a commit.
How much do you think this is centered around, Pat Kelsey's kind of the new guy. A lot of these guys don't have direct relationships with him. Maybe they don't like him coming in and ruffling some feathers. It feels like this is at least a little bit of, I feel comfortable taking these shots because the program doing it already has this renegade reputation, and the coach who's doing it is this new brash guy that maybe some people already don't like.
Yeah, not established yet as an elite coach.
It's easy to take these types of shots when it's Louisville and BYU involved. But you're right. If Houston had gotten London Johnson, is Tom Izzo stepping up and taking these direct shots when it seems like it's directed at Kelvin Sampson? No.
No. He's saying, who can we go get?
We're back to being us versus everybody. And I don't hate it. I'm fine with it. There's no rule breaking happening here. People are just pissed off because we're doing things a little bit differently. And we're not the only ones. Everybody else is falling in line now. Everyone else is going to keep doing it.
Don't be mad that Pat Kelsey's prepared for the rules.
Don't be mad that Pat's shaking it up a little bit. Yeah, but we're just more prepared than everybody else. Get over it. If they got rid of the rule tomorrow, would I cry tears? No. I'm fine with there not being G League players in college basketball. But if there are going to be, go out there and take advantage if you think it directly benefits your program. Hell yeah. Why not? Other thing to get to today. So it feels weird.
What's that?
We're 24 hours away from the first basketball game of the season, exhibition style. And it's Kansas. I still don't exactly know how to approach this mentally. Just because I've always been excited when the first exhibition games get here. It used to always be right around Halloween, and the second one was the first week of November, and the season came a week after that. Now with the season being even earlier, the exhibition games are even earlier. But it's so different when you're talking about Kansas coming to town as opposed to Georgetown College or Pikeville or whoever. You used to be excited just to see the team. You knew you were going to win. You were a little bit worried that maybe the score would be close and you would get embarrassed nationally, or if you lost, it was going to be the worst thing ever, which only happened when Kenny Payne was here. Now it's just kind of like, I don't know what to think. I'm excited to see this team, but I don't want to get into the mindset of like, we got to take down Kansas, bleep Kansas, because I don't know how much we're going to show in this game.
I don't think you have to. I think you have to go in this game with just the expectation of the players and seeing them all out there, right? Seeing them all showcase positive things on the floor.
But it feels wrong to have that mentality, you know?
A little bit.
Like, I would rather...
But it doesn't. The outcome doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
And it's not going to be an indication. This game's probably not going to be an indication of everything we're going to be doing going forward either. So, if we go out there and lose by 11, you can't be that all mad when you probably didn't even run any true in-depth sets.
Yeah,
so,
I'd rather lose this game and not show our hand in a way that benefits us later on than win this game and give opposing teams something to scout. I think Kansas is the same way. So I wrote about this today on SB Nation. Like, we all learned at a certain point growing up, if you've watched pro sports, like at some point you learn the lesson of, preseason games don't matter. Like, I remember watching a Lions preseason game, because it was rare back in the day that the Lions were ever on TV, but they had Barry Sanders. This was like 91 when they were going to be good that year, and they lost. They got pounded by, I think, the Packers. And I was like on the verge of tears, and my dad's like, this game doesn't count. And that was the first time where I'm thinking to myself, well, they're wearing uniforms. They're playing. They're keeping score. They're fans at the game. What do you mean this doesn't count? And he's like, it's preseason. And then when it really sunk in was when the Buffalo Bills did this thing where they were notorious for just not caring at all in the preseason and just going 0-3 every year, and they would still keep going to Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And that was when it really set in for me that, okay, preseason games don't count. We're now, for the first time ever, having a college basketball, what feels like real preseason, because now these exhibition games are featuring D1 teams versus D1 teams. And we've already had some wonky results. So we had, and I don't know how closely anybody else has been following this. I know we've all been locked into football. But we had Houston, speaking of Kelvin Sampson, number 2 team in the country. This wasn't an exhibition, but they played a not-so-secret scrimmage where they had stats and people knew the score. They got blasted by Ole Miss, who's not ranked.
Any stats from that game?
I think that they're out there somewhere. But they lost 70-56.
What did Corn and James do?
Ooh, I'm curious about that. I think Ole Miss is going to be good. I think I'm the only person that has them ranked going into the season. So that's good for me. But, again, it doesn't matter. St. John's, Rick Pitino, number 5 team in the country. They trailed Towson at halftime of their exhibition game a couple of days ago. Michigan, number 7, Dusty May, God's gift to coaching. They lost to unranked Cincinnati in an exhibition. BYU, number 8, lost to unranked Nebraska. Alabama, your boys, number 15, I guess going up against your boys, they gave 105 points to Florida State, who's supposed to be one of the worst teams in the ACC. Iowa State, number 16, lost to unranked Creighton. It doesn't
Who did Duke play? USF?
Yeah, Central Florida.
They didn't.
They won by like 10.
They didn't put them away either.
No, it was close, and they didn't want to embarrass Johnny Dawkins, and UCF's not going to be very good this year. So it doesn't take much searching to look on the internet and find people that are overreacting to these results and saying, Michigan's overrated. They're not even going to make the tournament. Watch out for Nebraska this year. This is the Huskers' year. We're finally going to win a game in the NCAA tournament. So I beg everyone, and I'm including myself in this, to not overreact to whatever we see tomorrow night, good or bad. We might win by 30. We might lose by 15. We might shoot the lights out. We might not make a 3. It's not necessarily reflective of what we're going to see in the 5 months that will succeed this game. And I say the same thing about Tuesday night's game against Bucknell. It's an exhibition. I'm excited to see these guys out there in a game situation for the first time. I mean, I'm fascinated by what Sanana Fru is going to look like, what Zugris is going to look like, what Adrian Woolley is going to look like, how we're going to Michael Brown, we haven't actually seen him in a Cardinal uniform in any sort of formal setting yet. That's going to be great. I mean, I'm sure he's going to take the matchup with Darren Peterson personally. But as far as the final result, I beg people not to flip out if we lose, and I beg people not to start buying up Final Four tickets if we win. It's just going to be an exhibition game. And the results that we've seen in these scenarios the last handful of years when they were doing those charity exhibitions says there's nothing you can take away from it. Indiana beat Tennessee last year in Knoxville. Indiana stunk. Tennessee was fantastic. USC beat Gonzaga, scored 96 points. USC had a losing record last year. Gonzaga once again won a game in the NCAA tournament for the billionth straight year. It's just like they're not. This won't be for real. This won't be for real. Having said that,
if we win,
yeah, we will come in here on Monday and start proclaiming national championship or bust. What are you most excited to see, or what are you most interested to see from the Cards in their first semi-official game?
Michael Brown Jr.
Yeah, I think that's it.
The lottery pick. The culprit to what is going to change Louisville basketball forever going forward, Mike. Which technically was the revival in Pat Kelsey last year, but with how we get viewed nationally, with how high school recruits view us, with what we do in the tournament this year, all of that kind of revolves around the success Michael Brown Jr. has this season. So I want to see it on display. I'm not questioning it. I just want to see it. I know it's what it's going to look like. I know it's going to be electric, and I'm just ready for it.
I feel pretty confident that Michael is going to be really good this year. So, like, my attention naturally shifts to the area where I've got the most intrigue or concern, which is the front court. You know what you have to an extent with Ali Khalifa. I'm dying to see Sananda Frew.
Yep.
And what he looks like
Number
in this
2
game.
for me.
I mean, because he's going to have to go up against Flory Badunga, who's, you talk about like teams that have that big, imposing physical presence that we're going to have to combat that we really didn't combat well last season. Right off the bat, you get a chance to see how he fares in that type of situation because that's a big dude who's very skilled and very good. I really want to see how the front court plays. I want to see how Zugris looks. I think you get a sense of the way he's going to play, but I want to actually see it with my own eyes. And then I want to see Adrian Woolley in addition. Also, Kobe Rogers, man. We haven't seen him. Yeah, you got the last highlights we have of him playing in an actual game came basically 2 years ago. I want to see if he's gotten better or if he can look like the same guy that was really peaking towards the end of that great season for Charleston a couple of years ago. Can he be a legitimate threat to run the offense effectively when Michael needs a break on the bench? Can he be a defensive stopper for us, the point of attack that can help us out in that department? I mean, there are just so many interesting parts of this team that we haven't had a chance to actually see with our own eyes. I can't wait to see them out there tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I also, now, unfortunately, 7:30 tip-off, we have multiple kids' trunk or treats tomorrow night.
What do you mean multiple kids?
I mean, both our kids, they go to 2 different schools now. Both of their trunk or treats are tomorrow night. So we got to have, there's no getting away from this.
What time?
Like 6 to 9 or something.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think Virginia starts at like 5:30. She's got to be there for Girl Scout stuff. She's doing like they have like a Girl Scout booth or something like that.
So mom will be with Virginia.
Well, I don't know how we're going to do it. We're worried that like John is going to be upset if he can't go to both. Virginia's going to want to go to both too. So we're still like trying to map out the issue. And then we have John's birthday party on Saturday that we got to get ready for at the same time. So I may not be able to watch the start of the game live. I may have to come in, like just turn the phone off and then go in cold at like 8:30.
I don't like that.
It's not ideal. And then Mary's got to go to D.C. for work next week. Just constantly rubbing it in my face how important she is. But she's got to go. She'll be gone for the Bucknell game Tuesday night. I may not get to watch that live either. Like, it's basketball season for guys. I'm a busy man with busy jobs. And she's like, well, I got more important jobs. I'm like, well, you got me there. But it's football and basketball overlapping season, for God's sake. This is terrible timing. We got to get going here. But we'll figure it out. It's going to be just fine. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it is, like I said, this does sort of feel like the calm before the storm. Basketball tomorrow night, there'll be a lot of reaction to that. Football, same time on Saturday night, there'll be a lot of reaction to that. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. This is that time where there's just too much going on all at the same time. We'll get it settled. We'll get it figured out. By the way, we're on remote tomorrow. Roman, you're not.
I'm not.
Hoopsters. How about that? In
like
Jeffersonville. That's where we're going. Right?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you said what?
No, I said I like it.
Hoopsters in Jeffersonville. Big X family is going to be out there from 12 to 6. They have a special out there if you're in the area. It's not just this Friday, but it's every Friday. Atlantic codfish loins, hand-breaded with classic cornmeal, and your choice of fries and slaw. They got a special deal on that. We'll have producer Matt out there on location, Roman nursing that knee back here at the studio. But Hoopsters in Jeffersonville tomorrow, Friday remote. I mean, the only time we've had the Friday remote during season has been the Salsaritas one, when thankfully like not a lot of people were around. We did we're going to be like inside the restaurant. I'm going to have to do the screaming thing for the last segment. It's going to be tough.
Double game day edition.
Double game day edition. Yeah, I mean, how do we handle game day tomorrow? Is it all BC or is it all Kansas? Or is it a little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
I guess it has to be a little bit of both. There's a lot going on. We also got volleyball.
We got to get Kent and Keith on tomorrow, too.
Oh, God, we do.
I got to figure that out.
Friday remotes, not ideal. We'll figure it. We did it well. We did it effectively when we were at Salsaritas that day. Hopefully we can do it again. We'll make it happen. Game Day Men's Health text line, by the way, I don't think I've said this yet. My apologies. 502-414-1450. You guys know the number. You all have already loaded it up. We'll get to your thoughts after the break in hour number 2. Questions, comments, concerns, reactions, whatever you got, we'll take it today. Keep it locked right here. We're going to pause for the calls and be back after the break. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus here on 1450 and 96.1 Big X Sports Radio.
It feels good because they got me on the run. Now I'm back in the coat.
It's the second hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Reminder, United Mechanical, our guy John Burke over there, Corey over there as well. They are Louisville's MVP for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical plumbing, and refrigeration services. Give them a call any hour, any day at 502-339-1133. You can also visit them online at UnitedMechanicalInc.com. We're about to go to the Game Day Men's Health text line for the first time today. Game Day Men's Health. Redefining men's wellness with no shortcuts, just results, testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com today and find out how they're redefining the new era of men's wellness. Romy, you ready for some text?
Yes.
Texter says, hold on. Oh, everyone's just trying to get the first text in. Everyone's just trying to be early these days. Let's keep scrolling to the bottom. Texter says, I spent way too much time at work today figuring out what the most likely scenario is for Louisville to make the CFP and who we should be rooting for since we don't control our own destiny. So I've thought about this. Every time I start doing it, I'm like, there's just no point. There's no way that you can figure this out at this point in time. All we can do is control ourselves. And if there are obvious teams that we need to lose as things get a little bit clearer, like late October, early November, then we can do it at that point. But so the texter says, to me, we should be rooting for Virginia and Miami to win out. There's a real risk of GT winning out until they get smacked by UGA in the last game of the regular season. Even if they make the ACC championship game over us, a subsequent loss to Virginia in the title game would probably knock them out of the top 12. I've got to imagine if we go 11-1 with a win over Miami and our only loss is to the champion Virginia, they would put us in over GT. Miami winning out helps put SMU out of the conversation as well. And the only thing that I think is clear is the best route is for us to win the ACC. So root against Georgia Tech. I'm rooting against Virginia because I don't think Virginia is going to win out. I don't think they're good enough to do that. We need Georgia Tech to stumble. And then we can take care of SMU ourselves because we play them. And then who else is out there? I mean, Pitt we already have the tiebreaker against. They've got one loss right now. We just need Georgia Tech to lose. And Virginia. I don't want to think about.
We need Virginia to lose twice, though, right?
Potentially. But if you get into like a round robin tiebreaker, then it could go our way. Because you've got the whole Miami beat Virginia, Virginia beat us, we beat Miami type deal. So if it's the three of us, I think it would go to the two highest ranked teams in the CFP. I assume Virginia falls behind us with a loss in the ACC. Even though they beat us, they'd have 2 overall losses, one to a bad NC State team. We'd have 1 loss. Like, we would be in front of them, I think, at that point. I think we'll be higher ranked in the CFP rankings. The other thing that keeps coming into my mind, there's no way in hell they let 3 teams from the ACC into the playoff this year. They might. There's no way in hell. They will do. It will take a perfect storm for that to happen. So we either need to be 11-1 and having Miami win the ACC with us somehow left out. Like Miami goes out there and pummels a 1-loss Georgia Tech team or undefeated Virginia team, and then we get in that way, or we need to win the conference because there's no way in hell they're going to take 3, even if we are 11-1. Texter says, Rocky 4 guy here. Found out where to find the pods of the Coaches Show. Search Inside Louisville Athletics on Spotify, and I assume wherever else you get your pods. I already have Brahms on there from last night and PKs from Tuesday. Also, I think there will be absolute chaos in the ACC down the stretch. So any win that we get, even as a big favorite, I'll treat it like the best win of the season. Survive in advance, go Cards, beat BC. I think this is 100% going to happen. We're all laying out all these hypotheticals where like Virginia goes 11-1 and Georgia Tech goes 12-0 and us and Miami both go 11-1. There's some of these teams are going to drop games they're not supposed to drop. There's going to be a clutter. It's going to be a cluster down the stretch. I fully believe. Like Virginia's going to lose to somebody. I think Georgia Tech's going to lose to somebody. Maybe Miami loses again at some point. I fully expect this race to get extremely chaotic and get to a point where people are back to talking about the ACC being weird and us only getting 1 or 2 teams into the playoff. It's going to happen. Texter says, the most shocking thing about today's betting indictment isn't that pro players are still in on it, but that the mob still exists and is still active. Reading the indictment even has the nicknames such as Black Tony, Albanian Bruce, and John South of 3 different crime families. Hey, maybe we should embrace this as an NIL opportunity. They're not any less ethical than the big corporations and billionaires funding the SEC and the Big Ten schools. What do you think about this?
Black Tony.
We get like a Gambino family patch on our basketball uniforms.
There's like a group of guys in suits in a box every game.
Yeah, we had
smoking cigars in the place.
We had good news today for the Louisville baseball program. You know, they added Aaron Flaker, who's long time been a huge donor to Louisville baseball as a quote baseball player personal consultant. So, you know, he's directly involved with the baseball team now after years and years and years of donating lots of money to the baseball program. What if we got Black Tony on us as a full-time consultant on the football team? I'm not against it. Everyone's going below board to find ways to get as much money as they possibly can.
Bring Albanian Bruce in as a recruiter.
Get Albanian Bruce on staff.
He knows some guys.
We already have like 350 associate athletic directors. Make him an associate AD. That's fine. I don't care. Give me Tony Soprano. Give me Jimmy the Greek. Give me whoever. Let's make it happen. I am fascinated by the fact that they're like the mob's still doing stuff like this. Who would have thought? Roman thought.
It makes me think that like Gilbert Arenas is actually like maybe going to get himself caught up here.
I would not be shocked at this point. Do you think he snitched?
Yes.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be snitching on Black Tony.
I'm not snitching on Black Tony. I'm not snitching on Scary Terry either. Texture says, this is Des Moines guy. Oh, he texted in about TJ. Thinking of you and your family. If you didn't see the news yesterday, very, very sad. TJ Walker, we talked about his dog, Abe, who had been lost in the Linden area and unfortunately didn't make it. And TJ posted, I know he talked about it on KRC today, but super sad. I mean, I know that it's, people say, well, it's just a dog. Anybody who's been through the loss of a pet, it's just the absolute worst. And especially in a situation like this, I can't imagine.
It's never easy.
It's terrible. It's the
kids that love the dog.
Yeah, and I know his kids are younger, but I mean, I started thinking about my kids are obsessed with Penny, especially John. Like it's their first dog. She's 9, so hopefully she still has a few more years. Like it's going to come at some point. And you're going to have that conversation, and it's just like I teared up just thinking about it last night. Our thoughts are certainly with the Walkers. I know it's a very, very, very difficult thing to go through, but hopefully they were comforted by the amount of people that reached out and were supportive and that love TJ and Hannah and their family. It's super sad news. Never easy at all. Riddler texted in, said, here's my take on the Terry Rozier news. I loved watching Terry play for Louisville. He's the best rebounding guard I've ever seen in a Louisville jersey. I think you're right about that. But I'm done defending him. He was one of the Katina recruits, and now this. Terry, you need to get a new group of friends to hang out with who can lift you up. I know he had a rough upbringing, praying for Terry, but I'm not defending his antics. Grow up. I mean, if this is true, I don't think anybody's defending Terry. I love Terry. Loved him as a player here. If you're openly cheating to get your friends or family members or whoever extra money, yeah, I mean, there's no defending that. Says, not to get political, but it's disappointing to me to see that this is the focus of the FBI while the current administration pledged to clean up the hardcore criminal activity on the street. This is the use of funds we have when millions of people are at risk of losing food subsidies as well as active military losing their first paycheck on November 1st. Wake up, people. The wool has been pulled over your eyes. Yeah,
You're not wrong, Ridley.
I mean, college basketball, that scandal was, I think there was a lot of, is this really what we're doing at that time? And then like 7 years later, it was like, I can't believe that was really what we're doing. Yeah. Whatever. At least they got their zippy one-liners in there. Texture says, okay, I'm in. I think today is the day that I'm ready to start my transformation. I have no idea what this is. Is this in like getting ready for the Boston College game?
To maybe Louisville basketball fandom?
I don't know. I have no idea what that was.
Basketball season mindset, maybe? I don't know.
I would hope not. What a terrible time to start with that. It's football. We're 19th ranked in the country. Come on. Not time. Texture says, double bird guy here. Which 2 players do you think will play the most minutes Friday night versus Kansas? I mean, I'll be shocked. I know that you want to win the game, especially with it being a home crowd and getting the enthusiasm up for the team. I'll be shocked if anybody plays more than like 26 minutes in this game. What do you say?
I think you're probably spot on. I don't think anybody plays more than Javon Hadley in this game.
Ooh, really?
He fits whatever type of lineup you really want to go with. He kind of works out in all of those. Whether you want to go fast, he can work in that. If you want to play small, he can definitely work in that. If you want to play big, he has the ball handling ability and shooting ability to be up 2 or 3. So, I mean, definitely a 3. That's his true position. But he can be that. I mean, he had to play 2 guard at times out there last year. So, I think just because he knows all the sets, he knows where everybody's supposed to be, and you're going to have a lot of rotations with the guards, so you're not going to see that same kind of, well, let's throw Kobe out there because you know Kobe's going to be able to make sure everybody's okay. They want to run their 3-guard lineups with guys that are going to be projected starters and stuff. So I think Javon is out there just because when you switch the lineups and the way you want to play, I think he'll, coincide with both.
I mean, I could see Michael playing big minutes if he's cooking, but I don't the actual big minutes that we refer, like anybody playing 30 plus. I can't imagine that's going to happen.
I think that in an exhibition game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty evenly split between, because I mean, you may not be playing Mo Kamara big minutes this year. He's probably going to play decent minutes in this game, Same with Zugris. I don't know how much he's going to play. We'll see if Kaysen gets on the floor at all if they use him in this game. But if I'm just guessing, I would say like Michael and I'll go with Hadley as well, just because I don't know if we're going to have. I don't know if Kaysen will be there to take minutes away at the 4. I want to see. Kanai's going to play a solid amount. I'm curious to see how much better Kanai is at the 4. Maybe he'll play some big minutes. I don't know. What do you think the starting lineup we go with is? We've been talking about this all offseason. We have a chance to see it for the first time tomorrow. What do you think it looks like?
Mike Hill, Conwell, Isaac, Hadley, Frew.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But, like, we were shocked when the first starting lineup came out last year for the first exhibition game. And it was the lineup that we rolled with to start the regular season with Abubakar Traore up there and some other guy. Like Kaysen wasn't starting, which was shocking. There is not, for anybody curious, there's no starting lineup listed on the game notes for this game, which are out for both Kansas and Louisville. So no hint there as far as what it's going to look like. They have a pronunciation guide on the website now that has Vagelis pronouncing his own name, and it's incredible. He's like Danny played it for me today before we taped our podcast. He's like, Vagelis Zugris.
Vagelis Zugris.
He's very aggressive, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to listen. I love this guy. I can't get enough of this. In case you're wondering, Michael Brown is Michael. People are going to keep calling him Mikel or Mikel. It's Michael. We know Javon. We know Kaysen. Okay. Did we know this? How do you say Kanai's last name?
Ruth.
The H is silent. It's Roots.
Really?
Yes. This is from the official game. How did we not know this at any point last year?
Kanai Roots.
That's crazy. Okay. Had no idea. Muhammad Kamara is pronounced just like that. Muhammad Kamara. Sananda Frew. We knew that. Ali. We've talked about that. Not Ali. Ali. And then Will Henke. Zugris, I still don't get. With the it's Zug. So his last name is Zugoris, not Zugris. Zugoris. It's Vigelis.
Spell the pronunciation.
Vaigell, all caps. Iss. Zugoris. Zooguhriss. Vigelis Zugoris. I'm just going to let him say it. He does it better than I do it. Zugoris. I love him. He's just Zoo. Let's keep it simple.
Vangelis Zugris.
The Roots thing has shaken me to the core. I pride myself on getting our players' names correct. And I had no idea at any point last season that it was Roots.
I'm really surprised that didn't get brought up at any point last year.
I'm shocked and embarrassed, quite frankly. Texture says, Terry peaked with this tweet. Stay strong, King. Yeah, the famous Terry Rozier tweet. You know which one I'm talking about? Osama should have hooped instead of trying to kill people because he's tall as hell. They were doing like the 10th anniversary of that tweet a few years ago, and he actually talked about it for the first time, where he was like, "Yeah, I stand by it." It's like, okay. Scoots Hater says, Mike, here's my thoughts on the guy's home field apparel T-shirt question from yesterday. He wore a new one at the Virginia game and wants to wear it again for the Kansas game. Okay. How about we just don't wear it? Just don't even tempt fate to bleep us. Let's avoid bad juju as much as possible right now. BC is very dangerous, and we need to come ready to play. You're right. About the last part, at least. People out here are trying to say that I'm not taking Boston College seriously, Roman. I couldn't be taking this game more seriously.
Confidence level.
I might not even watch the basketball game tomorrow because I'm going to be reviewing Boston College film from their win over Fordham.
Their only win.
Yeah. Don't say only win. They won by 46. They have an average margin of victory in their wins of 46 points per game. Think that's a laughing matter? Think that's a joke?
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Should be taken serious.
I could not be more serious right now. They're very dangerous. I'm not tempting fate in any way, shape, or form. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. Where's your confidence level at? You were, 9-6 yesterday?
Yep.
Where are we today?
I'm feeling good. But I'm still sitting at a 9-6. Nothing's jumped it up yet.
Good. That's where I want it to be. That's where I want you. What's your confidence level in the basketball game tomorrow?
10 out of 10. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was going to kill you.
I'm just kidding. I don't have one. I'm not putting one on it.
I think we're going to lose, and I'm sort of like okay with it.
I don't think we're going to lose just because I think we're going to have a lot of people out there just because I think a lot of people do want to see this team out there the first time they play together against opposition. So I think the crowd should be a factor. I think that we're going to shoot a lot of threes that if we hit enough of them, there's no way that they can beat us with, I feel like, not the same level of shooting on the other side. A lot more guys that like to dribble and get to the rim versus shooters on that team, in my opinion. So they're going to be trying to figure things out with their guard play as well, Mike. I think there's a handful of question marks on what role is what for a handful of guys outside of Peterson on that team. So I think that I won't be surprised if we look a little bit better and a little bit more cohesive than they do in the shooting department.
It does feel like a game that should benefit us. And I don't want to break down an exhibition game, but if both teams are going to basically not run any half-court offense and not try to show their hands or just run their basic, like their initial install from several months ago, that should benefit us because we're the team that's going to play closer to that style in the actual regular season. Like, I think this will look a lot like open gym running 5s-on-5s. Where
this is going to be drive and kick.
Yeah, they're going to be drive and kick. We're going to be get out in transition, take a 3 in transition. Like, we're going to take 20 transition threes in this game. And that's, like, that part of our game is going to be something that we do during the actual season.
Yeah.
So I think that probably benefits us. I think Peterson will score a lot of points in this game just because they're going to ask him to score a lot of points.
I think he is the leading scorer on the game.
I think he is too.
Probably the only person to get over 20, I'd imagine.
The task for Michael in this game is going to be to not get caught up in this isn't the DME Academy, Dame Academy versus Prolific Prep matchup.
We need to go bucket for bucket with Peterson.
Yeah, we don't need you to do that. Like, we need you, like, because that's going to be his role for them this year. Like, he's going to shoulder the bulk of their scoring load. We don't need you to do that here. We obviously want you to score, but we also want you to set up the elite scores that you got all over the place around you.
Yep.
So
do that stuff off the ball as well.
It'll be a tough, like, he's a super mature kid, but you know that he looks around and he says, oh, by the way, it is pronounced like Dibonsa is AJ's last name.
Really?
Yeah, the pronunciation guy saw that today. Dibonsa. That's how you say his last name. How do these kids get through 4 years of very high-profile high school and have everybody pronounce their name incorrectly? I say that. We just found out last year that Bijan Robinson is not Bijan Robinson because he had to tell us all. But, yeah, Dibonsa. But if you're Michael, you've seen AJ Dibonsa put up big numbers. You've seen Cameron Boozer put up big numbers. It's going to be tough for him to if Peterson is scoring at will in this game, for him not to be like, well, I want to get mine. I want to be a top 3 NBA draft pick. I want to make a statement. It's going to be a big early test of his maturity because he's going to have to put team over self for the entire season. That's just the way that it's going to be. All those other guys are going to have to do the same thing.
He seems like he's the level-headed kid, though. He knows he's going to have his moments this year.
Yeah. Plus, you get a couple highlight plays. That's all that matters.
I want that Khalifa to Michael lob, Mike.
Let's get it. Let's go. Texter says, did Gilbert Arenas snitch? Yeah.
I just saw something. Did he post on Instagram?
What? What are you saying?
I thought I saw. Okay, no, he.
Apparently, the Italian mob, it is Nostra. It says, Mike, you didn't hit your Italian mob phase before your World War II phase. Key part of the early onset Republican cycle.
He walked onto his show today, Gil's Arena, with a bag, a brown paper bag that says informant lunch on it, and pulled a sandwich out of it and started eating it. Just posted this 33 seconds ago.
That's exactly the whole, like, I'm joking that someone who actually did that route would take.
Yeah, I snitched.
He did it.
He definitely did. That's why he's didn't get arrested today.
He did it. Texas, they cheated the wrong government official in these poker games. Think the sports betting side is definitely players trying to hook up their buddies or down big with the wrong people. I mean, that's definitely what happened, right? With the illegal poker scheme, is that they screwed with somebody who just wasn't going to take it and who had enough connections to take them down. Because this is not the first high-profile, high-stakes poker game where there's, I mean, the guy on the podcast that I was talking about earlier is basically joking about this from 2 years ago. Like, yeah, I've heard that these guys are running this fake ring, and they're getting athletes to play the game, and everybody knows what's going on. It's happened before. Not everybody has the whistle blown on the games. I assume it was just somebody lost like $900,000. They had ties to government officials, and they were like, hey, you got to take these guys down. I'm pissed off. I'm going to get back at him. And look, that guy, at the end of the day, probably won. Texas said, I'm not doubting bad players did illegal dumb stuff, especially scamming the poker players. But yeah, this whole thing feels like one theatrical show. Clearly timed with the opening of the season. Two unrelated cases put together to make it seem bigger. The fact that the FBI director needed to make an appearance about this for the presser seems really dumb.
I agree.
Shouldn't he be doing more important things than sports gambling? He said it was tens of millions implicated at the opening statement, yet the woman at the end said the poker games were a total loss of $7 million and $1.8 million was from one person. The Rozier game had thousands thrown onto it, to our knowledge, not millions. Where are the other tens of millions of dollars coming from? Why weren't any of the mafia members named in full, just the basketball players? It's an attention grabber to be played off as a major FBI win and divert from all the other stuff going on right now. I mean, yeah, like, it's the same thing with the college basketball deal. You ended up watching the Scheme, right?
Yes.
The HBO doc.
Yes.
It was very clearly like they thought this was like laid into their laps. They caught this guy doing some illicit stuff, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, if you don't send me to jail, I can take down some of the biggest names in college basketball because they trust me.
You want coaches? I can give you coaches.
I'll give you Rick Pitino." And they're like, "Hell yeah!" We love splashy wins. We love big headlines attached to our name going out there and changing the game. And they had this big chest thumping. And you realize that they kind of quickly came to the realization that this was not going to be as easy as they thought it was going to be. But they were in too deep at that point. So they're like, all right, we know something's going on. Let's hold this big press conference. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scare the hell out of everybody. And we're going to make everybody else start snitching on their own counterparts. And it's going to we'll have a hotline, an anonymous tip line. And that's going to really take the sport down. And then everybody was like, no, I'm not talking. I'm not calling an anonymous tip line to say Coach K is cheating. No. And so they got nobody when all was said and done. 4 people went to prison, and none of them mattered in the grand scheme of college basketball things. It did nothing. They thought it was an easy win for the FBI. It ended up being a big nothing burger. It made the FBI look worse than it already did. And now it kind of feels like history is repeating itself here. Texas says, what are you doing, Terry? Put it in reverse, Terry.
Come on, Terry.
Come on, Terry. Texas says, I have to be honest. I'm worried about Virginia, your daughter. If you're anything like me, I'm speaking pretty loudly about the bad play and the losses. Even with the wins, I can hear a get some, Virginia, you suck, trying to be nice here. What's your plan to make sure that she doesn't have a complex? Either way is bad. We win, F you, get some. We lose, Virginia screwed our chances at everything. I love you, Mike. Been following since the blog, but I have to know the discussion when Mary wanted to name your daughter after a conference foe. I mean, first of all, it's not Mary. The name was initially my idea. Every woman in my family for generations, besides my sister, has been named Virginia. My mom is Virginia. My grandmother's Virginia. My great-grandmother was Virginia. My wife is Mary Virginia, so she was very much on board. It's a family name. I've always loved it. Always wanted to name it a little girl Virginia. But it has been a little bit confusing for her. She's figured it out, though. It's helped that I think 3 of the football games that we've been to have been against Virginia, so including this year's. So she knows about Virginia. She knows about West Virginia. She's gotten used to it at this point. The confusing thing is still when we're out with my parents and my dad is like, Virginia, talking to my mom, and little Virginia is very confused. She's like, what? I'm right here. That happened the other night at Hillcrest. We're still getting the hang of that. But as far as the states, the teams, all that stuff, she's got it figured out. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's wise beyond her years. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More from you guys on the Game Day Men's Health text line at 502-414-1450. Whatever you got in your mind, we'll continue to take it after the break. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, also presented by Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. We're live here on 1450 and 96.1. Call the Collier Law Firm today at 502-736-8141. You can also visit them online at collierlawfirm.com, Colyer lawfirm.com. Hurt in an accident, hurt on the job, Collier Law Firm. Roman, have you been following this Louvre heist at all in Paris?
A little bit. I've just been seeing things when I scroll past stuff.
I'm fascinated by this thing. Like I'm all in. For anybody who didn't see this,
seeing jokes like, "Wow, those diamonds are only worth 3 years and a 3-year Jordan Poole contract."
I mean, the whole thing is crazy. I mean, the Louvre is the most famous art museum, I think, of any sort in the entire world. You know, it's become a common refrain. You know, hang it in the Louvre. Everybody knows about the Louvre. This took 8 minutes. This heist. So this was what, on Monday, 9:30 a.m. A group of thieves, they park a truck under the windows of the Apollo Gallery, which is a wing of the Louvre. They climb up an electric ladder from the back of this truck. There's a truck. So apparently trucks that have, because I mean, my first thought was, I mean, you got a truck with a mounted ladder pulling up next to one of the, if not the most famous museum in the world. Like, that should turn some heads. Apparently, these types of trucks are really common in the streets of Paris. They like lift up, because everybody lives in apartments. They use these to lift up furniture and other heavy things to apartment windows, which is crazy, but you know, the Parisians, this is what they do. They carve the glass out of one of the windows out with a disc cutter. It sets off the security alarm. So it's not like there's no security there. There are 2 security guards that are right there as they break in. They threaten them with the disc cutter and then smash 2 display cases while the Louvre staff members evacuated the museum. They grabbed a royal sapphire necklace, a royal emerald necklace, and a diadem worn by Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III.
Wow.
They then climbed back out the window. They had mounted 2 high-powered scooters waiting for them outside, and they drove away. So they're in. They pull up at 9:30. They break in at 9:34. They leave on 2 high-powered scooters at 9:38. Insane. They don't go after any of the oil masterworks, any of the big paintings. They don't go after even the most prized jewels in the Louvre. They wanted to leave nothing behind. They wanted to have things that were easy to offload. They wanted to have things that they could melt down, apparently. So not really like your classic art heist, just sort of it's being referred to as a commodity theft. They're not worried about leaving some valuable pieces behind. They're not bothering with high profile and easily identifiable pieces like the Regent or the Sancy diamonds, which would have been tricky to resell. But so I've got a friend. It's the same friend who was a diplomat in Italy when we went over there a few years ago, she's vacationing in France. And she posted a picture on her Instagram of like the outside of the Louvre they broke in a couple of days ago. And it's just a boarded up tiny window. It's the weird, this is the Louvre, for God's sake. This is something out of a movie. And it's just like they just cut open a window, threatened the guards, grabbed some diamonds, and then came out the same window. And all they have right now is that window just boarded up with like a piece of plywood, like you would see at a house that's been condemned. It's crazy. I gotta know.
One little board on one window?
One little board on one little window. It's insane.
They're pretty smart.
I guess. They're either really smart or the Louvre is really bad at what they do. Have you seen, I need to text you this photo. I retweeted this. But somebody posted this actual picture, not AI, of a French detective who's working the case of the crown jewels. He looks like somebody out of he's wearing a 3-piece suit with an overcoat over top, one of those like 1920s Sherlock Holmes hats, and he's holding an umbrella. He looks like he's smoking without a cigarette or a cigar or a pipe or anything. It's insane to me. I got to know more about this guy. You got to see this picture.
Where is it?
Look at my Twitter. Retweeted. It's like the second thing I retweeted. Look at that guy. He's investigating. He's investigating the heist. The whole thing's fascinating to me. I want to know how it goes.
This is great.
I'm telling you.
That looks like AI.
It does. It's not. It's not AI. I listened to the whole podcast on the famous art heist from New York, like back in the mid '90s. That was all so fascinating. It's crazy that this still can happen in 2025 with all the advanced security measures and with seemingly other easy ways for organized crime members to get themselves rich. But breaking into the Louvre, getting in and out in 8 minutes is pretty wild. Game Day men's health text line also pretty wild at 502-414-1450. We'll go back and take your guys' thoughts on this and other things right now. Texter says, considering your hatred for Kenny Payne, I don't hate anybody. And Memphis State, I do hate Memphis State. I can hate entities. Who will you be rooting for in the Arkansas Tigers exhibition game? I don't care. It's an exhibition game. I mean, let's say if Arkansas and Memphis played a actual game, who would we root for there?
Memphis.
I think we play both this year.
Yeah, I guess technically we want Arkansas. They're going to be better than Memphis at the end of the season, so we want them to be as good.
I mean, I hate both equally. I've got no beef with Arkansas outside of them employing John Calipari and Kenny Payne right now, and their fans being kind of crazy from time to time. I hate Memphis State just to my core, and I think it would benefit us more if Arkansas's as good as possible. I probably would go for Arkansas. I can't go for. I can't even say I'm going for anybody. I'm just trying to look at it from a rational standpoint. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville, said, fill in the blank with the biggest accurate number. U of L has had more NFL success than NBA for the last blank years. Ooh. It's been a while now. I mean, at least 15. Probably more.
Yeah, I was going to say 12.
I mean, we haven't had a ton of NBA success, even when things have been going well in the modern era of Cardinal basketball.
Yeah, I was hanging my hat on Gorgie for a while there.
I mean, Gorgie was kind of it. Peyton never stuck on a roster. Russ never stuck on a roster. Reese Gaines flamed out pretty dramatically in his tenure. Terrence Williams never got it going. Earl Clark had a brief moment where he got it going. Besides Donovan, we've been pretty. David had a cup of tea.
It was working for him. I just don't think. I mean, I wonder if the money was better overseas because he was hooping for those.
Same with Jordan
Memphis hustle before he signed overseas. So.
But like even that level of success that we're talking about with those guys, it doesn't compare to the level of success that we're having on the NFL side of things.
Not at all.
Because it's not just like Lamar and Teddy. We've had, I mean, Jair was the highest paid cornerback in the NFL for a period of time. Sheldon Rankins was a very good player, has been a very good player. We've had consistently like guys playing at I mean, Yaya Diaby is fantastic right now for the Buccaneers. He killed the Lions for a little bit of time on Monday night. We've had a number of high-level guys in the NFL. I mean, it's been like 30 years, I feel like, of us having more success in the NFL than the NBA. Now, there are more players in the NFL, so that helps things as well. But it's kind of crazy when you consider that if you throw out the last, 7 years, basketball has consistently, since the 1960s, achieved at a much higher level than football has with respect to their respective sports. And yet, we've had more individual talent in the NFL than we have in the NBA for what feels like a while now. He continues, though. It will be blank years until UK beats us in football. 72.
I'll go 3.
It's a shot in the face of Jeff Braun. 72.
I feel like they'll change something down there.
72. BC is a blank high noons game, including perfect tailgate weather.
19.
I was going to say 20. By the way, did you see the text that we got, the tweet that we got about Drinks Guy, about how we got it done?
I saw that he texted in. I didn't read it.
So it wasn't even Drinks Guy. It was his buddy.
Oh, yesterday, yeah.
Tweeted at us. It was over the weekend, I want to say. I think it was Saturday. He said, Drinks Guy wanted me to report to you guys that he did hit 17 drinks last night. He finished it up at an EDM dance club in Glasgow. That's what I want to know. That's commitment right there. We give Drinks Guy an assignment. He's 31. It's not like he's a spring chicken anymore. I think he's 30. He's in his 30s, I know. We told him 17 drinks. He gets it done. He wraps it up at an EDM dance club in Glasgow.
Thriving.
That's what we love. That's why we love the listeners here. He did it. Got it done. Last one. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville, said Cards score blank TDs against BC.
4.
6. 6. Texas Mike wearing the Longwood sweatshirt because that's what we have with basketball and football this weekend. Go Lancers, baby. Like that?
I like that.
Yeah. Love my crew necks. Crew necks are kind of out, but I can't quit crew necks.
I love them.
I'm a crew neck guy. I love them.
I love crew neck and shorts, too.
I'm a big crew neck and shorts guy. Only problem is a lot of my crew necks are fitting a little tight these days.
Yeah, we get like 4 days in the year like that here where that weather
I know.
aligns.
I was feeling like it was a crew neck and short or like hoodie and shorts day yesterday. I went to John's soccer after the radio show. It's freaking freezing, man. I was dying out there. The wind is killing me. By the way, we wrapped up our latest soccer shot season. He got a medal, Roman.
Okay.
Got a medal.
That's a start.
Didn't kick the ball in the game.
He's an athlete.
Just kind of ran around aimlessly. I mean, I was like, at one point, got onto the wrong field entirely. I mean, I've stopped being mad at it. I just kind of like, Mary and I were just like laughing at him. I'm like, look at him right now. He's like running out with his arms just out to the side, looking up at the sky, paying no attention to anything whatsoever. When he focuses, he's got decent hand-eye coordination. He's like kicking the ball well in the drills. Then when they get him in the games, he just thinks it's funny to run around as much as he can. I'm like, all right, buddy, come on, man. But he got a medal. He's basically a champion. He's the next Pulisic. Texter said, I've been thinking about the Miami game. Will we turn the page? No, we're fine. At first, I was kind of bothered by the fact that we let them make it close and almost stole the game, considering that we pretty much dominated it. However, I really like the player stories that came out of it and think they could make us better. First, I like that Isaac made the mistake and was picked up by his teammates' play. This puts him on a more even level with his teammates than, say, the offseason where he was the offseason prize. We still don't win without him, but it certainly humbles and humanizes him.
Yep.
I love that Capers was the man to end the game, especially considering he was being questioned on how well he could backfill Stanquan. Should be a big moment to propel him in the back half of the season. What are your thoughts?
He's backfilling.
I read that. I was like, come on. The first point, it seemed like you agreed there.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he showed who he was again, finally.
Yeah.
I feel like against an opponent where you're not as expecting him to go cut up if he was fully healthy, right? So it probably is, it's a little bit of both, I think, going on, where he's like, hey, guys, I'm back. I'm here now. But also a little bit of like, gosh, I almost costed us here. That's definitely reminds you that it's a team effort.
I was a little bit nervous. So after the game, I don't know how many people else caught it, and this is one of those minutia things where you're never sure if you're reading too much into it or not. Like, they kept showing Isaac on the last series on the bench, helmet off, like looking upset, which is understandable. Fumble the ball, may have cost us the game. But when the game was over, there were a couple of clips that showed everybody celebrating and then Isaac kind of looking like he was still sulking a little bit and not being excited. So I was worried about that. But there were multiple videos that came out of the locker room celebration.
Dancing.
He's super into it. I think he posted a TikTok of himself dancing. That made me, that sort of put me at ease. I didn't want this to become a thing where it's like, yeah, we won, but like they didn't play me at the end and to hell with that. And I still like hate this. Like we need him locked in to have any chance at this in the second half. And I mean, I'm kind of on pins and needles waiting to see the injury report. A lot of people have asked about Duke, and they've asked about Isaac, and I don't know. There's been no buzz about this. I've had no sort of insight as to what their status is. I'm hopeful that we don't see Isaac on the injury report for a second straight week so that we know he's good to go. And then I've heard no chirps about Duke Watson, what his status is, where he is. Would love to see him at least listed as like questionable tonight. Ideally probable or not on the list at all, but I just I'm very anxious to see that when it comes out tonight at 8:00. Plus, you just maybe Miller Moss got hurt. You just have no idea in this program how things are going. But I do think that, to the texter's point, yeah, maybe it works out in our favor that he gets humbled a little bit and he's back to being kind of one of the guys. He helped us win, but he also had a critical mistake, just like everybody else. And maybe that, I don't know. There is a part of me that had the exact same thought. And as far as the second part of your text, yeah, it's great to see TJ Capers get going. It's great to see him make a key play in a key moment. He's been splitting time with Caleb Perry and replacing Stanquan Clark. Caleb Perry's been really good, though. That's the thing. It's not like we're just going to throw TJ out there for.
He's been hitting hard.
He brings it. He plays fast. He's out for blood. He's been very good, and TJ Capers has been good when he's been out there as well. But those guys, I assume, are going to continue to split reps.
I hate to do this, Mike, but
Okay.
since we received this text yesterday, and I've been thinking about it, are we worried that Duke's played exactly 4 games and is, not probably healthy right now?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said yesterday. Stand by. We'll find out more tonight. If he's listed as out tonight,
That's a bad sign.
then I think we're very worried about the rest of the year. He's played exactly 4 games. That's the magic number. I mean, I have the same hope that everybody else does, which is, and it's not exactly like deep thinking, but maybe you had some guys on the fence before the Miami game, maybe some guys who were like, oh, I'm thinking about the portal, and, I've only played in 4. And hopefully, I mean, if you're not going to get excited about being on a 5-1 team that has a manageable second half of the season schedule and has a legit, we have a real shot to go to the college football playoff now. Why are you playing? I mean, if it's just for money, okay. But if you're a competitor, if you've worked your whole life playing sports growing up to get to a point like this, if you play in the it doesn't get bigger than the college football playoff. The numbers for those games, it's up there with NFL TV ratings. You don't get those opportunities all that often. There's no guarantee that you're going to be an NFL player that goes to the playoffs, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be an NFL player, period. Why not go all in now? And hopefully some guys who've been sort of straddling the fence are fully engaged now and fully locked in and saying, look, we're 6 wins away from doing something special here. Let's go out there and fight. Let's go out there and give it all. It's only, it's 6 weeks. It's a month and a half of your life to be fully dedicated to Louisville football. And if you get it done, you got another month and a half to hopefully go out there and chase a national title. What are you waiting for? This is the moment. Step up. Seize it. Let's go. You just did something insanely special last Friday, and it opened the door for you to do something even more special in the 6 weeks that are about to follow. If not now, when? When in your life are you going to be fully committed to something? Commit now. Let's go. Texture says, we have the Poker Con, fixed NBA games, and the Louvre Heist all in the month of October. What movie genre are we getting in November? Hopefully like sports rom-com. I could use something a little bit lighter these days.
Yeah.
I think we all could use something a little bit lighter. Give me more Notting Hill, less Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Or just Drag Me to Hell. Texter says, I don't understand these old pros doing all this gambling stuff. Terry has a $100 million contract and is risking it all for a few $100,000. Are these guys in it for the thrill or just plain? I can't say that word. Also, that's not how it's spelled. Yeah, I mean, I think we all have the same thought.
It's more so, I think, trying to allow people close to you to capitalize on something that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah. It's very clear.
For the case of somebody like Terry, who's an actual, sorry to interrupt, really important player. Jonte, that's different. It's super, super simple for a role guy who's going out there and getting a handful of minutes a game. When he knows that handful can turn into none if I just start the game and say my ankle's not feeling right, that's a lot of gray area, right? I think for somebody like Terry Rozier, he clearly doesn't need money. And he's in such a high, important role with the teams he's been on, Mike, that if you know you're kind of battling through an injury, I just don't think Terry would fix games. The injuries were real. Probably shouldn't have been playing. That was the case. Trying to play anyway, saying he's going to give it a go because that's what's normal. That's what you do in the regular NBA season. You try to play through injuries, knowing he may or may not be able to. I mean, a couple of the plays out there were pretty ugly, but you have to think this is something trying to help out a lot of people close to him because he knows what the current circumstance is on his current injury or the playing time he's getting. I'd find it really hard to believe there's bet slips that Terry put in.
Same. I just don't get this has to be a clear case of someone just not understanding the risk involved. Because, and I don't know how you can't at this point. I mean, he's a grown man. He's played. This is, and then to have the the detail that strikes me the most, they counted the money at his house.
They went and got cash. That's
You're
just
begging to be caught. Like, just how do you not know that this is something that's more than just like a little slap on the wrist or something that you may have to have a conversation with the GM about if you get caught? It's jail time and the premature end of your career. Someone needed to. One of his friends should have just shook him and said, "You can't do this, man." Who are these people that are leeching off of him and forcing him to do something like this? And not one person stepping up and saying, like, if you want to give me 10 grand, I'll take 10 grand. But this is just not. This isn't worth the risk for you, man. Like this is a huge deal if you get caught. And also, it's going to be fairly obvious if there's hundreds of thousands of dollars wagered on Terry Rozier unders in one game and you leave with an injury. I mean, this just – I've got to think it's just something as simple as it wasn't thought through. I don't think Terry's a criminal mastermind. Like you said, I don't think he's making bets. Well, they say he's not making bets himself.
he's no Shohei.
He's not.
Translator sending the money offshore.
Did you see
they had that. They had it down pat. They knew what they were doing.
Did you see the tweet where it was like, I miss the way that the old way that the NBA used to handle gambling problems? There's Michael Jordan swinging in a White Sox uniform.
Yeah, that's great.
And then there was a couple Shohei tweets out there too. Yeah, the whole thing is I guess pro athletes get super bored sometimes, but like why you would ever put yourself in a position where you're risking that much is beyond me. I'll never understand it. Texter says, the only thing I don't like about this game on Saturday is that it's our first game where the weather won't be very warm. But I hope we can play through it and win comfortably. Go Cards.
We were about Swaggy Miller in the cold, Mike?
He does. How did he play last year in the cold? I mean, I'm assuming not well because it was towards the end of the year when he ended up getting benched.
I mean, how many places did they even go play in real cold? This is not that this is going to be.
Well, I mean, he's in the Big Ten last year, so they were traveling across country. They were playing some cold weather games. Last year they played at Minnesota in early October. I don't know how cold that would have been. Minnesota also plays in a dome, I think, still, but he didn't play well. 200 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. At Maryland, mid-October, played well in that game. 34 of 50, 336, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Home game, late October in Cali. The game where he got benched was at Washington in the first week of November. That's the game where he threw 3 interceptions. But he did throw the ball 50 times, 293 yards. He probably hadn't played a real cold weather game. And, I mean, Saturday is not going to be a real cold weather game. It's going to be like 50, like high 50s, mid 50s. Are we concerned about this, though?
I think they'll be okay.
I mean, our Florida kids played real well in the cold late last year. I mean, it was not overly cold at Clemson, but it wasn't warm. Played well there. The UK game was really cold. We blew the hell out of them. Pitt blasted them in November. That was a cold weather game. I hadn't really thought about this, though.
They'll be fine.
Blacksburg should be a little bit warmer, right, next week than it will be here? I don't know. Texture says, what is this? It's a picture. Oh, Terry Rozier sent a tweet out August 15th, 2012 that just said, I bet. It's not good. Texas, I will hear no slander about Terry from UK fans when their starting running back is literally a convicted felon. Yeah. I mean, it's literal. Texas, Wemby or Ohtani? Which one are you taking for long-term greatness?
Ooh, this is a rough one because I don't trust that elbow for a second.
With Shohei?
Yeah.
But we saw him still hit like 1 billion home runs last year, even when he wasn't pitching.
That's true.
So he could still be one of the greatest all-time home run hitters in Major League.
And they said he knows to play like infield and outfield if he has to.
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani's proven more, obviously, than Wemby has. Wemby, last night I'm watching him and I'm like, is he, like, my friends on our text were like, is he already better than prime LeBron? Like this is insanity. I mean, if he keeps getting better, he's 21 years old. If he keeps getting better, we're talking about potentially the greatest basketball player who's ever lived. I think Shohei Ohtani's in the discussion as the greatest baseball player who's
already in that discussion.
Yeah.
With only 1 ring.
I mean, we've never seen anybody do the combination pitching, hitting
at this level.
Like that. I mean, even Babe Ruth he stopped pitching when he went to the Yankees. You know, like
I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, he pitched for the Red Sox. He stopped pitching later in his career, just focused on being a position player and hit a million home runs. Like his stats are going to be the weirdest of all time because he had more home runs than every other team in the American League combined in a couple of seasons. But Ohtani, we've never seen anybody do the things that he's doing.
We haven't.
It's a great question.
But you're on path for Wemby being out there statistically doing things. Like
you're right.
He flirts with the quadruple double often.
Yeah.
If you're flirting with the quadruple double in the finals, now you're talking about greatest player ever.
It's a great question.
Because it's a matter of who stays healthier, I think.
That's why I lean Ohtani now, just because he's already proven more. He's the safer bet.
But if Wemby hasn't had a good track record through the first 2 years.
Yeah. If Wemby stays healthy and keeps improving, then my God, how good could he be?
All right, if Ohtani's a starter still, Mike, how long does that elbow hold?
You're not wrong. Got to go to break. When we come back, a couple stories we have not touched on just yet. We'll start the hour with that. We'll get back to you on the text line, and then we'll go ahead to the night that will be in sports. It's the Mike Rutherford Show. Hour number 3 next here on the Big X. Final hour of the Thursday edition of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450-96.1. Big X Sports Radio. Solid Thursday night ahead in the world of sports. We've got NBA back at it tonight. What's the highlight game tonight? Thunder Pacers on ESPN. It's a doubleheader on ESPN. And then Nuggets Warriors at 10 o'clock on ESPN. College football tonight as well. Nothing really good.
South Alabama.
South Alabama at Georgia State. Boy, you want to talk about being a sicko tonight? 1-6 South Alabama, 0-3 in the Sun Belt. At 1-6 Georgia State,
Yes!
0-3 in the Sun Belt. South Alabama, 6.5-point road favorite in Atlanta, Center Park Stadium, 7:30, ESPN2. Ugh, get some. And then tonight, 8:15 on Prime Video in the NFL, Vikings at Chargers. Two teams struggling a little bit here. Chargers got knocked down last week by the Colts. They're not, Justin Herbert, the shine off him just a little bit. Vikings looking terrible with Carson Wentz right now. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. We'll pick some winners for these games coming up in the next hour. And then if you want to hear some gambling lines, keep it locked right here for the Ticket Punchers. They've been punching tickets for the last 3 weeks, for God's sake. They can't stop punching tickets from them.
Tune in.
They can't stop. I was listening to Chris Bell had a good interview with Eric McLean, who Roman hates. Refuses to. I tried to get him on the show, and Roman was like, no. I'll physically fight this guy if you try to get him on the show. It's not going to happen. And I was like, whoa, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. We won't have him on the show. Don't worry about it. And then he just got this weird look in his face. It was
I was
terrifying.
switching a bit.
Yeah, it had reaching for something that I think was a switchblade in his pocket. I was terrified. I got very scared. But then, so I was like, no. But he did talk to Chris Bell. And the most interesting part of the discussion, so there have been a lot of rumors about Chris Bell being pursued by a number of schools during the offseason, namely Texas. And there are rumors about Texas coming to him with a 7-figure offer and him saying thanks but no thanks and ultimately coming back to Louisville. And while McClain didn't ask him specifically about Texas or specifically about taking less money, he did ask about remaining loyal to Louisville in the face of a ton of attention last offseason. And Bell basically said, I've been here through a lot, coaching change, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I always told myself that I wanted to finish my college career where I started it, and I always wanted to end here as a Louisville Cardinal, and I'm happy to be doing that. And it got me to thinking, we've rarely had players who have been here for multiple – forget about the sport, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. We've rarely had players that have been kind of like frustrating at times, very good. I mean, and that's what Chris Bell has been up into this season. He's been good, but there have been that personal foul penalties against UK type moments. There have been a couple of big drops. There's been this notion that he's not putting it together in a way where he's realizing his full potential. And now all of a sudden, he's looking like maybe the best wide receiver in college football, and that's coming attached with the knowledge of, in this weird climate where you're kind of questioning everybody's loyalty, I think we can say on good authority, he chose to stay here for less money than he could have gotten at a quote-unquote bigger name brand school. I hope that the fan base is fully appreciating this guy and will show him as much love as we possibly can, regardless of what happens over the next 6 weeks. Like, Chris Bell deserves a gigantic ovation when he comes out during the Senior Day festivities when we play Kentucky. Because, it's already a rarity to have something like this happen at a place like Louisville. It's going to become even more rare as time goes on. Kid's special. And right now, he's playing about as high of a level as we've seen from a Louisville wide receiver maybe ever. I had that big discussion during the summer about I hope that we're appreciating Isaac Brown and just how good he is. I think it's time to have an in-season discussion about appreciating Chris Bell. I mean, Roman, I reeled off those numbers after the Miami game on Monday's show. Mm-hmm. The last 3 games that he's played, I mean, he's been good all season long. It's not like he was chopped liver through the first 3 games of the year, but the last 3 games, 10 for 135 and a tutty against Pitt. 12 for 170 and 2 scores against Virginia. 9 for 136 and 2 touchdowns against Miami. That's a generational 3-game run that Chris Bell is on. Every now and then you have a wide receiver pop off for a couple of these games in a 5-game span. He's done it in 3 consecutive weeks, knowing that he's the focal point of the opposing defense. This is outrageous play from number 0, and I really hope that we're all latched. This is history right here.
It is.
And I hope we're all appreciating just how much of a tear he's on and the fact that he's doing it following an offseason where big-time schools tried to get him to go make a senior switch for more money.
And I think you're right to put such an emphasis on just how rare, even right now, this is to have a player that, one, you've kept this many years at a skill position. That automatically just isn't very common.
Right.
Two, a player that had a much higher ceiling than the average wide receiver, wasn't meeting that ceiling consistently in his first 2.5 seasons, and has since that, very, very end of last year and on, seeming like he's been a whole different player, basically, and met that potential. Mike, you don't get Chris Bells in the transfer portal. You don't really keep Chris Bell. You don't recruit Chris Bells through high school and keep them all 4 years either. It's that body type. By sophomore year, if it's not working out at Louisville, you're going to go try to figure it out somewhere else. That's just how it is. And it's sad almost because I don't know when we're going to have another one. Like a player at that level, that age, that experience, that size, grown into his body, and wants to be here, more than anything else, it's going to be more and more uncommon.
There was a conversation about this a little bit during the offseason, but it's so true. A lot of times, and it's not just Louisville, it's everybody, the biggest reaction to a roster move, it should be for the guys that you're bringing back. Everybody loves to celebrate the shiny new toy. Everybody wants to see who you're going to go out there and get in the portal. It was thrilling when we got Clev Lubin. It was exciting when we got some of these other wide receivers in the portal. It was exciting when we got some of the other defensive talent. But the biggest thing that Jeff Brom has done well in these first 3 years is keeping the best talent from one year to the next. He prioritized keeping Isaac Brown and Duke Watson. Now, unfortunately, it hasn't paid off quite as much as we would have liked it so far this season. But he got Chris Bell to come back for less money. He got, at least a couple of the offensive linemen to come back and shore up that front five. He lost a couple of big-time defensive linemen. Mason Riker goes to Wisconsin. How's that working out for you? Jared Dawson goes to Notre Dame, but he kept others. We got Renee Conga to come back. We got Jordan Garrod to come back, and we brought in adequate replacements for those guys and Ashton Gelati up front. We got the linebackers to stick around. I mean, Stanquan Clark had everybody coming for him in the offseason. We got him to come back. We got TJ Quinn to come back. We got Antonio Watts to come back. We got TJ Capers to come back, who wasn't even a starter, but there were a lot of big-name schools that were like, hey, man, you're a 5-star. Why are you going to sit on the bench at a place like Louisville in your third year? Come start in an SEC program. Come start at a Big Ten program. We got him to come back. That's the biggest and best thing that Jeff Brom has done. We can talk about the high school recruiting rankings. We can talk about the portal work. But getting your most key players from a successful team the year before to come back for the next season, that's your new lifeblood. That's where you have to start. You got to kill it in the portal. You got to bring in high school talent and develop them over the course of 3 or 4 years. But you've got to make sure that your best players aren't bouncing right when they're on the precipice of reaching their full talent. It wasn't everybody. We lost Jamari Johnson to Oregon, but you got to make sure that the guys that you're prioritizing the most, you can't lose them. And us losing Chris Bell and then seeing him putting up these types. Now, he probably wouldn't be putting up these types of numbers at Texas because he doesn't have a quarterback who could throw him the ball. But seeing him putting up these types of numbers somewhere else would have been just brutal because we developed him. We got him to this point. We knew he had the potential to shine at the highest of possible levels, and now we're finally seeing it, and thank God it's happening in a Louisville uniform. But it wouldn't have happened without our NIL guys and our coaches making it happen, but it also really wouldn't have happened without Chris Bell being willing to sacrifice just a little bit to finish his career here at Louisville, a place where he's put a lot of time and effort into it. So, like I said, I hope the fan base truly appreciates what's happening here because it's a story that's going to become, I think, increasingly rare as time goes on, and it's already much more rare than it was 10 years ago. Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-440. I did want to ask you this. We spent so much time talking about Wemby and about the betting scandal. It was a good night in the NBA overall last night. Give me one big primary takeaway outside of, oh, my God, Wemby, and, oh, my God, we've got guys gambling with the Mafia.
This is going to be, and I said this last year is what's funny, but I said last year, I meant it differently. I said this last year that last year's rookie class we're going to have a lot of key role players that play important roles on contending teams. Mike, This year's rookie class has stars in it. It has stars in it. Dylan Harper has all the tools to be as good as you need to be in this league. VJ Edgecombe is ready for prime time. That was probably the most impressive thing I watched last night. Game 1 of your NBA season, to play like that in Boston, and I get it's a Boston team without Tatum, but that's still a really good defensive team, and a hard offense to go up against defensively. And he looked like he didn't struggle at all. He looked like there was no aspect of the NBA game that he wasn't catching on to already. So that's rare with rookie guards. They typically take a lot of time to figure things out, and like with their efficiency and their shot selection and what you do when you get into trouble in the paint, little things like that. He is fully ready for all of that, and that was surprising to see. Jeremiah Fears. Now, I didn't have any negative opinions upon him going into the NBA, but
I do. He tore Kaysen's ACL.
He was like the most. He's got everything he needs, but it's probably going to take a while to get it all going. And he looked like he was ready for primetime as well last night. So the fact that the rookies looked really good, I thought that was wild. And like from debut game, that many rookies looking good. Igor Dimon or Dimon or however you say it, he looked great as well. Rookies impressed me last night. Maybe I had an open eye open for him as well. Maybe a little bit biased just because I probably did more reading up on the draft class this year than I have in quite some time. So it was impressive, I thought, though, from the rookies last night. Outside of that, though, nothing too crazy, nothing that shocked me. The Cavs offense, when Donovan's not on the floor, that's a bit worrisome. It didn't look like best offense in the NBA at all last night. So I wonder how long it takes them to get things together. They need Garland back. But outside of that, just the rookies, really.
I'm excited about watching the rookies play. I mean, we knew it was a good class. I think next year's class is going to be even better, and then I think the class after that's going to suck. But the Peterson, Michael, Cam Boozer, DeBonsa, it still feels wrong saying that. And some of the other guys, I think that they're going to be fantastic in the NBA as well. But yeah, it certainly seems like these guys are putting on a show early on. Couple of things to get to before we go back to the text line. And Roman, I just sent you a clip via DM. But first,
See if it works.
We'll see if it works today. Not a shock. We kind of told you this was coming yesterday, but four-star center Josh Irving a few hours ago did go ahead and commit to Texas A&M over his fellow finalists, Louisville and Kentucky. It was going to be a very, very large surprise if he'd picked Louisville. I think Louisville and Texas A&M were the finalists kind of over Kentucky, but he did go ahead and put on the A&M Aggie hat, which sucks. And then second of all, this whole London Johnson thing is just taking on a life of its own. Every coach, there are media days going on across the country for a lot of the smaller conferences, and now every coach is being asked to weigh in on this, and it's being framed as, like, what are your thoughts on Louisville taking a G League player? As if we were it's the WikiLeaks thing again, where there are multiple schools doing the exact same stuff, and yet for whatever reason we're being singled out. The first program to do this was Santa Clara, and it was over a month ago. A kid just from the G League just narrowed his list of schools to 3 yesterday, and it was Houston, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. And yet every coach is getting asked, what do you think about Louisville doing this? We finally have somebody sticking up for us a little bit. Bryce Drew of Grand Canyon, formerly of Valpo, made the crazy shot back in the 96 NCAA tournament. He was asked about this. Here was his answer today at Mountain West Media Day.
Yeah, I think
Can you hear it?
the situation is different.
Yes.
He had some circumstances, it sounds like, his contract, things like that. There's others that, obviously we've looked into, but they're too far the other way. That college is not going to happen. And so, I think it's just person to person. But I think people are getting more savvy, too, about maybe going to G League and find ways to keep their eligibility to come back. Again, people are smart. They find ways to get guys eligible the right way. And, Louisville did a great job of finding out how to do it. Yeah.
So audio rough there. But he's basically like, Louisville's going a route. I can see us going that route too. It's they did it the right way. They're playing by the rules. Do we say thank you to Bryce Drew? Finally somebody declaring some sort of sanity here?
Dan Dockich?
Oh,
kind of
God.
sticking up for us too a bit, Mike. I know you're not going to like this.
Oh, no.
Want me to read it?
Cue the Onion, worst person you know, just made a great point. Heartbreaking meme. What did he say?
What is difference between a U.S. kid that played in the G League signing with an American college and a foreign professional kid signing with an American college? Professional players are professional players no matter where they played. Now, since every player is being paid, aren't all NCAA basketball players professionals?
Oh, God.
No question mark, but kind of how he meant it. He's not wrong.
Oh, no. I don't. Am I going to have to change my stance on this? Am I going to have to take a shot at Pat Kelsey now? I can't be on the same side as Dan Dockich. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do the political thing where it's you don't like these people so you can't agree with them when they make a good point. He's right. I mean, we said the same thing. There's no difference. It feels weirder to have the G League players have eligibility after playing in professional leagues for the past couple of years. There's zero difference whatsoever between that and a player who played 3 seasons in the German Bundesliga professional league at the top tier, like Snanda Fru, coming over and playing college basketball for the first time at the age of 21. Same thing. He's not wrong. Dockich isn't dumb. He's just an a-hole. He's not smart.
I was going to say.
He's not dumb. He could, it's a well-reasoned take. I don't like it. I wish you hadn't told me that. It kind of just ruined my day. I'm against it now. They're spoiling the game. This is ridiculous. Get it out of my face. Only let the European pros come over here. We need Blogdagoviches. We don't need Johnsons. We don't need Smiths over here. We need more names that I can't pronounce. Come on. Damn it. I got to go to the text line now. 502-414-1450. I'm terrified of what else I might find out today if we keep letting Roman give me takes that are in agreement with me. Texture says, where's Josh, is Riddler, where's Josh with the Brom extension to shut these Penn State rumors up? I don't think he feels the need to rush it because Jeff's not going anywhere. We don't need to rush it. I mean, I think that the extension, the bonus, whatever it's going to be largely dictated by how the rest of the season goes. I mean, if Jeff takes us to the playoff, yeah, give him a blank check. If we could have a clunker on Saturday. Imagine giving him a new, very lucrative contract today. They announce it tomorrow, and then he goes out there and loses to Boston College.
Take the money back.
Charlie Strong got a contract extension in, I think, 2011. Because Tom Jurich was very big on if he had a good feeling that you were doing the right thing, he wanted to go ahead and give you no reason to look at another school if he saw big-time success coming. So he gave a lot of early contract extensions to coaches. So he gave Charlie Strong one, 2 games into his second year, right after we beat UK. And then Charlie turned right around and we lost to Marshall the next game, and we were 2-4, and people were he's got a losing record through a year and a half. And then Jurich was right. Charlie got it going in the second half of the season, had 2 great years in a row, and then still left. But he looked silly at that time. The timing was bad, but it ended up being the right move. Texter says, so we have college basketball, college football, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, and UFC all in one weekend. No, you're not crowning a champion. Although I guess technically Game 7 of the World Series I think could be played on November 1st. But
I was going to say, unless it's World Series from a long series.
October's great because you're kicking off basketball. We get these exhibition games and the NBA regular season starts. You're this is this is the heart of college football and NFL season. You get baseball ending, NHL starting.
That mid-October though,
it's
college basketball, college football.
You mean November?
Yeah, I'm sorry, November. College basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, NHL.
I do think I lean November because you get the college basketball tournaments during championship week. You're a little bit deeper in the NFL season. The games mean a little bit more. College football, it's all about the playoff race and conference championship race. You're right there and you have all the rivalry games happening. The one downfall, like you said, is there's no sport that's crowning its champion. Yeah. No major sport.
But as someone like you, Mike, who's a Reds fan, you don't have to worry about that. I'm sorry. That was uncomfortable.
completely unnecessary. I did nothing to bring that on right there.
Sorry.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
But I'm just sitting here thinking, like,
I still enjoy the World Series.
It's two guys who don't really, I mean, for different reasons. The Reds not giving you reason, me not really being a fan of a team. We're not missing baseball in November, though,
No. I mean, I'm excited about watching the World Series just because I like baseball, and I'm I'll watch it. But, yeah, it's not like I've seen the Reds play in the World Series in a long time. I mean, I'm just happy I got 2 games in October this year. It's incredible. Gigantic step in the right direction. Texas Mike, I like to imagine that once the season starts, that Zoo is going to have Psycho's brothers in the crowd, like at the games, like Jokic. Anyone else have that thought? Does he have brothers?
He does.
Oh,
actually, let me think. Because basketball wasn't his first sport. Am I remembering this correctly? In the Zugris video, the get to know Zugris video, why do I feel like there's a memory in my head of him talking about how I want to say he's the youngest brother?
Oh, please tell me he's the.
Here we go. Making this up.
No, here we go. He's born to parents. Oh, I don't even. Panagiotis and Vasiliki. He's brother to Anastasia, Dionysios, Demetrios, and Myrsini.
He's the fourth brother?
Dionysios and Demetrios have to be boys. I assume Anastasia and Myrsini are girls. But he's got at least 2 brothers. We need these brothers at games. I need these Greek brothers to be just animals at games.
I want to say he comes from a wrestling background with those 2 brothers.
Oh, tell me he does. I mean, I need these guys fighting UK fans on November 11th. We have like UK, these guys making the trip from Bell County to come cheer. Like, oh, we're gonna talk some noise to these Louisville fans, and then just boom, chokehold from Demetrios. Just snapped, just like broken over the leg by Dionysios. Boom. I need that to happen. I love this guy already. Also says if he was in a movie, or if there was a movie made about his life, Cillian Murphy would play him. He looks nothing like Cillian Murphy. You think so?
Something about, like, I'm picturing if Zugris had longer hair with he's got a little bit of weird waviness in his hair that I can picture it a little bit. The strong jawline with that weird wavy brown hair.
Great jawline, by the way. Great jaw. He could play himself in a movie. He's a good-looking guy. He said, so his bio says he played soccer until he was 15 years old.
Okay.
He'll face one of his old teammates, Neoklis Avdalis, plays for Virginia. Oh, it's only us doing this. Cool. His personal goal at U of L is to win a national championship. Love that. He wears number 53 for his grandfather that passed away. The person with the greatest influence on his athletic career is Vasilis Spanoulis. The basketball player he most admires is Kyle Hines. I mean, where did he play with him in the EuroLeague? Kyle Hines played at UNC Greensboro like a million years ago.
He must have went overseas.
He had to have gone overseas. We got to get on the show to talk more about this. I'm fat because I love Kyle. He's a mid-2000s baller. He's like my age. The athlete he most admires outside of basketball is Lionel Messi. Okay.
There we go. The GOAT.
Yeah. Outside of basketball, he reads books in his spare times. Of course he does. Few people know this, but he has 4 siblings. When he played basketball as a kid, he always pretended that he was Kobe Bryant. The best athlete he ever faced is Giannis. He'd most like to meet David Goggins. His favorite actor is Al Pacino. His favorite team is the Milwaukee Bucks. His favorite TV show is Family Guy. And his favorite comedian is Dave Chappelle. His favorite movies are Scarface and Godfather. Are you worried about these mob ties?
Not at all. He's a dog, Mike.
He's an absolute dog.
Takes one to know one.
David Goggins.
That's why he likes David Goggins.
He's that Navy SEAL guy, right?
Yeah, that does all the crazy jogging and stuff.
Yeah. Texture says, SMU is in real danger this weekend, which kind of sucks because we play them, so it's not as big of a deal if they lose. Tough to see it happening, but UVA is also in danger. UNC shockingly looked competent at Cal last week. Not as worried about UVA anyway. They're not getting out of Cal or Duke with a W. I'm just rooting for GT to fall off a cliff. Somebody was saying that they're putting Georgia Tech on, not Georgia Tech. Everyone thinks that SMU is going to lose at Wake Forest this weekend. I don't know where this is coming from, but this is like the 5th time that I've seen somebody being like, oh, Wake's going to beat SMU. Why? I don't really get that one. I don't think Virginia is in real trouble at North Carolina. This should be sort of a lazy week in the ACC. You got a lot of heavy favorites. I mean, Miami's hosting Stanford. Pitt's hosting NC State. Georgia Tech's hosting Syracuse. Cal, Virginia Tech is the Friday night game. Who cares? It's just kind of a. Of course, you say that. This is when people get out for. This is when people start bleeding. This is when crazy stuff happens, and that's why I'm not taking Boston College lightly. It's a big weekend for us. It's a light week for everybody else. That's what I'm saying. We'll come back 5 o'clock hour. We'll rip through the text line. We'll make some predictions about the night ahead in sports, and then we'll hand things off to the ticket punchers. Keep it locked right here. It's the Rutherford Show on 1450 and 96.1 The Big X. Welcome in to the final segment here of the Thursday edition of the show. 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Reminder, we're out at Hoopsters tomorrow from 2:30 to 5:30 in Jeffersonville. Stop by and see us. Take advantage of their fantastic deal on codfish loins. special they're running out there at Hoopsters. I think the KRC boys will be out there as well. We'll have Matt Childress on site with us. Roman Kelly will be back here at the studio, but we'll still do our standard. The Friday show being a remote, it's a little weird. Friday that's me and Roman's day. We celebrate together. We get hyped together. We do our pick-em. We talk to Keith Wynn. We're still going to do all that stuff. We'll make it work. Roman will still give his pick-ems segments in there. We'll preview both the Kansas game and the Boston College game, which is a little bit weird, but there's a lot going on. So we'll still be focused. We're still going to bring the heat. We'll just be out at Hoopsters tomorrow from 2:30 to 5:30 getting that done. I just saw this during the break. Brian Windhorst was on some show talking about the stuff that's going on, and he says about Terry Rozier that the sports books caught the irregular betting on Terry the day that it happened, that March day in 2023. He didn't play the rest of the season, and he had faked the injury in that game to allow his friends or whoever to cash on their under bets. So it wasn't because of the injury. The NBA pulled him for the rest of that season. So the NBA caught wind of this. They quietly behind the scenes told him, like, you're out for the rest of the year. It's kind of scandalous in its own right.
Yeah. Probably knew this was coming then.
Some weird stuff going on. And then they just let him go out there and play last year. Very strange. All of it strange. I'm talking kind of like the Windhorst voice. Now tell me, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Game Day Men's Health text line is 502-414-1450. If you got thoughts, get them out. Got about 20 minutes to have them heard on the radio. We're about to make some college football, NBA, and NFL predictions coming up here momentarily. Before we do, your thoughts. Texter says, howdy, boys. It's Parksy Boy. What's up, Parksy Boy? Am I the only one who wants PK to fire back in the media a little bit? I know he tends to be super respectful and tactful publicly, but he's also passionate and fiery. We've seen it on the sideline. Maybe it's just me being annoyed at the high horse hypocrisy from Izzo, Self, Drew, etc. But I want Pat to stand up for himself and the program a tad. Maybe I'm off here. What are your thoughts? I think it's going to happen. I think it's just a matter of when. So he had his radio show on Tuesday. This hadn't happened at that point in time. He didn't have media availability before the Kansas game. They didn't do they typically do a pregame press conference the day or 2 days before. He didn't do that for this game. I guess because it's an exhibition. We'll hear from him before and after the game tomorrow. I think he probably says something. There have been kind of hints that the staff is going to fire back. Like last night, Ronnie Hamilton, the assistant coach, gets online and he just tweets out, hey, I just getting on Twitter for the first time today. Did I miss anything? And had some sort of gif out there. I don't think that Pat Kelsey, he's not going to be bullied by anybody. I don't think he's afraid of anybody. I think he respects the legends in the game right now, but he's certainly not going to kneel down for them. He's not going to get on his knees and oh, I'm so sorry. How dare I? He's here to break them down. He's here to become one of them. He's here to get on that level. I think Pat Kelsey will have no issue firing back if he feels the need to. It won't be like Tom Izzo sucks, come play us. It'll just be what do you want us to do? It's a rule. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not doing anything that's outside of any NCAA bylaws. We're certainly not the only program doing it. I'm not going to stand for people saying that we're doing the wrong thing when all we're doing is playing by the rules. Texas says, I'm sure you know about the Tennessee baseball coach moving to the MLB. Do you also see this as a trend moving forward? Do you see Dan McDonnell possibly doing it? I don't see Dan leaving for I don't think this becomes a trend. I think this is a very, very weird, it is weird. We don't see this happen where a college coach, a lifetime college coach, makes the transition not just to the professional game, but to the professional game as a manager of a pretty high-profile franchise. Vitello has made a big name for himself for good and bad reasons. He clearly has had a lot of success at Tennessee. So, I don't know if it's going to work. He apparently was handpicked by Buster Posey, who, his name carries a ton of weight within that organization. I thought it was weird. We had a group discussion with my buddy Dylan, who's the hitting coach for the Red Sox, and he was talking about how it's more about managing egos now at this level than it is anything else. And the game has evolved, and some people are resistant to that, and sometimes it can work, but you've got to have like a long track record of success. But he was saying he's like I don't really know this guy. I don't have a direct relationship with him. I think it could work out well though. I think he's you've got to have forward-thinking guys. You've got to have guys that are good at managing egos. You've got to have guys that they know when to kind of rock the boat, but also when to make it known that they're the ones in charge. So I take his word for it. He also had then he and my other buddies who are all in coaching got into this big discussion about the best way to teach 10-year-olds hitting mechanics. And I was like, all right, I can't. You guys are, it's like 5,000 words about, do you teach Aaron Judge the same way that you teach little Billy? And I was like, this is beyond my comprehension now. I got to tap out. You guys just keep going. Texture says, do you think you'll be leading off Monday's show talking about football or basketball? Football.
Football's more important right now.
It's in season. If we lose, definitely football. if we win, I think also football. But there's more of a if we lose, it'll be 3 hours about football. If we win, it'll be a solid amount about football and then a solid amount about whatever happened on the basketball court. But then we've also got another basketball game on Tuesday, so it'll be a pretty quick turnaround. But no, football's the main thing right now. Now, when we play Kentucky, basketball will be the main thing for those shows. But right now, 5-1 football team. Basketball team's not playing games that count on the record. It's football. Main thing's the main thing. Texture says, was Dr. Watson there? Oh, that guy? Yeah. I need a biopic on that guy right now. I need a Netflix documentary on that guy right now. Texture says, do you think Caleb Stewart deserves this award? See the link above. Louisville police officer who cited a homeless woman in labor is given a local tourism award. Okay, this is behind a paywall. How do you want me to react to that headline? Just based on the headline, no. He cited a homeless woman in labor?
For what?
Well, I don't know. I can't read the whole story.
Public nudity? Like that? She can't help it.
Public nudity. It's gross. Take this behind closed doors.
Hey, you can't do that here.
I know you don't have a home, but go give birth in a Wendy's. What is wrong with people? I don't know what this was. Like I said, I can't read the story. So, my first reaction is obviously no. I don't think he deserves a tourism award, but I'm going to need more details. You put me in a bad position there, Ohio Texter. I don't like that. I don't like what you did there. Texas, for all the talk about Louisville not having won an NCAA tournament game since 2017, UConn before 2023 hadn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2016, and before 2025, Florida hadn't been past the first weekend since 2017. I don't know if you knew this, Roman. So a lot of people are talking about Pat Kelsey having never won an NCAA tournament game before. Not a lot of people are talking about this. Not well known. But Todd Golden hadn't won an NCAA tournament game before last season either. Did you know that?
I had heard.
Crazy. Chris the Plumber says, gas going down, 245, 244 by county. How about that? Well, I thought they were just bragging about it being under $2, Chris. Didn't Trump say 2 months ago it's under $2? Why are we celebrating it being under $3? It's been under $2 for the last 5 months, right? Or was that not accurate? Texter says, I can't watch a video. Drinks guy. This is Drinks guy at the end of the video in Glasgow after his 17 drinks. We have live footage of Drinks guy. This is where we need to put it on YouTube. Oh, he's looking good. I like the glasses. He looks pretty hammered. Drinks guy's a hero.
He is.
God, that's a crazy bar in Glasgow. I didn't know they had EDM bars like that in Glasgow. Texas says, Chris the Plumber doesn't think your kids deserve a medal for his performance in soccer. Come on. Leave Chris alone. Texas says, the number of times every single sports season we learn we've been mispronouncing a player's name is comical to me. It's literally every season.
Who was it last year? Did we have one?
I don't think it was. There's some where I get annoyed because like they tell you how to pronounce the person's name, and the fan base just refuses to ignore. Like when people kept calling Shane Benahan, I was like, okay, guys, like it's Behanan. It doesn't even. All you gotta do is look at the name. Or Anas Mahmoud. I'm like, they're telling you how to say it, but when everybody else is saying it wrong, and then they just put up in the pronunciation guide, oh, by the way, there's no H in Ruths. It's Roots. I was like, okay, well, how are we supposed to know that? Every single announcer last year called him Kanai Ruths.
Yep.
It's crazy. Texas guys, first time texter, Cowboy. Guys, let's not be so naive to think Chauncey or Damon Jones weren't involved in any sports betting. They have tons of inside information. Well, Damon Jones is also tied up in the sports betting stuff. Apparently, Chauncey's not. The whole thing is crazy. I always think, and I know you're about to hit me with the Cowboy. I'm just waiting for it. I always think, though, with stories like this, just do it. There, okay, thank you. There it is. I always think, like, how many people are getting away with this? It's not like only a couple of people have been involved in some illegal sports gambling stuff, and they caught him. We got Jonte Porter and Terry Rozier. How many people are successfully doing this? Like, it's my biggest takeaway when, and this is more gross, and like every time there's a story about a teacher having a relationship with like a 14 or 15-year-old girl or boy, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening so much. And then I always think, like, how many times are people getting away with it?
I've consistently been hearing about it for over a decade now.
Yeah.
It's like it never stops.
I mean, there's been like 5 at Manual in the last 3 years, not to upset any Crimson listeners, but it just keeps happening. And it's always some fluky thing that they get caught. Like the parents just happen to, they were checking a picture on their kid's phone, and they happen to notice at that specific time the teacher texting something inappropriate. So how many people are getting away with this that we just don't know about?
I don't want to think about it.
I don't either.
That one. The basketball, I think probably a lot. It's tougher.
Probably a lot.
It's tougher for these role guys because if your line is 4.5 points and you play 12 minutes a game, like you got to like pass up shot attempts in certain moments. It can be really sticky. I feel like for those guys that shouldn't be scoring a lot anyways, because it's going to be blatant if you're trying to avoid scoring 4 points. And if you make a lot of money and you're on the opposite end where you're a high usage player, you shouldn't be in this realm of even fathoming doing this. You know, like yeah, I understand if you're making $3-4 million a year. I don't understand. I shouldn't say that. I can understand why players who are in that realm of making $2, $3, $4 million, you know, those two-way kind of guys, are going to hear out their friends and look into this more so than guys like Terry Rozier.
We haven't mentioned this, but it is absolutely insane that this news is breaking less than 24 hours after the NCAA officially approved college athletes to be able to bet on professional sports.
Isn't that weird?
Like they got the D3 approval yesterday. So now it's legal for college athletes. They can't bet on college sports, but they can bet on professional sports. This is
Pandora's box, Mike.
It's a weird world that we're living in now. It's going to take some adjusting too, and even when we adjust, I don't know if we're going to be able to effectively police everything that's going on right now. Texas, it's crazy how many Cards have gotten in trouble with the FBI, football, and basketball. I'm not a hater. I'm a Cards fan. No, you're not wrong. I mean, forget about just the FBI investigations into actual Louisville stuff. You had Terrence Williams get in trouble with the Players Association.
Health insurance stuff.
Yeah, for medical fraud during COVID. He was the ringleader on the basketball side. And then Josh Bellamy was the ringleader of a similar scandal on the football side of things. He went to jail for that. And now Terry, yeah, I mean, it's been not a great run. I think there have been a couple other guys, too. Nate Harris, I know, got in trouble with the FBI several years ago, a name that we brought up last week before the Miami game. It's Dino's fault. Dino Gaudio. He just put us on the FBI's radar. That's what happened. Texture says, click to view image. Oh, have you seen the uniforms that Miami's wearing this weekend?
I haven't.
All camo.
Ugh.
All brown camo. It's hideous. It's awful. They might lose to Stanford wearing these things. It's a terrible look.
I don't like it.
Texas, apparently Utz makes Mike's hot honey pizza cheese balls. Do you want my hot honey cheese balls in your mouth? You can now make that happen. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. It's too far. It's a Thursday. It's 5:15. I should have just eaten that one. Could have phrased that differently too. Texture says, I'm starting to think that the mouth breathers at KSR don't actually watch sports. I've seen this clip circulating. I don't know what it is. I haven't had a chance to listen to it. Apparently, they said things about Louisville today, playing teams they don't actually play. Again, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with both sides taking shots, but at least make it semi-factual. Like last year where they were like, their schedule is the easiest thing. They don't even play Clemson this year. And they don't. It's like, we did play. We beat Clemson. So, you know, at least have the basic facts. You don't have to know, like, top to bottom details, but at least have the basic facts down. The first time I ever did, and I like Matt, the first time I ever did his podcast back in the day, it was Brian Brom's second year as like the full-time starting quarterback, not splitting time with Stephon LaFours. And he had me on, and I was like kind of nervous first time I'd ever done a podcast. And he's like, so year one of Brian Brom taking the reins after splitting time with Stephon LaFours. And I was like, first question, I've got to kind of be like, yeah, so he was actually the starting quarterback last year. And they're like, oh, didn't know that. I was like, what are we doing here? Come on, I mean, just basic stuff here. Texas play more too short on rejoins.
Okay, can do that.
Texas podcast listener here. Sorry if I throw the show off, but after watching the Cardinal commitment, is it a hot take to think that Zoo may be a better fit with this team than Frew? I think it is just because we haven't seen Frew play.
Yeah.
I love what Zoo brings to the table, but the limited offensive skill set is going to hurt him.
I think Zoo is playing at a higher level.
Yeah.
I mean, Frew, I'm sorry. I think Frew is playing at a higher level of basketball.
Same. I mean, I think Zoo will be beloved for what he does. The hustling, the rebounding, the defense, the screen setting. He'll finish well enough around the rim if you leave him wide open and he's able to roll. But he's not a shooter, and he's not going to be a back to the basket, you can feed him guy. He's the guy that they're going to play off defensively when he's on the floor. And that's fine. He'll give us great minutes, but I think Frew is the more well-rounded player. At least I hope he is. Texter says, did Mike miss his calling as a French detective? Yes. I would have loved to have been a French detective. I don't know why, but I mean, the outfits alone are just fantastic. Texas Mike pronouncing Cillian Murphy as Cillian. Did I mess it up? Is the new doppelganger? How do you pronounce his name? I thought it was Cillian. Is it Killian?
I thought it was Cillian as well.
He's Irish. I always thought it was Cillian. Texas, not sure if it's been mentioned this week, but Lamar posting on Twitter that he wasn't rooting for Louisville or Miami in the game almost ruined the victory for me. What? All I saw was his shout out of Chris Bell. Why is he not rooting for Louisville against Miami?
This was I read this. This was a back and forth. Like I read it in live time.
Okay.
He can't root against Miami like that's his second team or something.
Okay, well, we're his first team. I saw him talking about JoJo Trader. Okay, here it is. Let the Ville win first. Bro, I can't go against neither team, not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And he said, this is disappointing, a forever Lamar fan because of U of L, convincing people across the country to cheer for the Cards and the Ravens because of you. And he said, you're reaching. I never go against the Cards. Calm down, Sydney. Yeah, I mean, come on. I know he grew up a Miami guy, but, like, you're a Louisville guy. I don't like that. I do like that he was, like, speaking like every generic Miami fan. Like, where's JoJo Trader? Not there. Texter says, what is this? Florida State, Wake Forest, Stanford, and North Carolina have had the worst ACC records over the past 2 seasons. Worst power conference records in football over the last 2 seasons. Okay, Purdue, dead last, 0-15, post-Brom effect. There are 3 teams that have only 1 conference win over the same time span. Oklahoma State, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. Florida State is next worst at 2-13. Now, this list is just sports porn right here. That's wonderful. Tell me how much overrated Jeff Brom is now. Purdue can't win before him. They can't win after him. Come on. Texas IU chip guy here. How are the Hoosiers favored by so much against a hot UCLA team? Because they still are UCLA, and you guys are still really good. I mean, I feel like pretty straightforward. UCLA, they're winning games. They're not beating good teams besides Penn State. Texas Wall, national media promotes Duke every year as being a title contender. The last time they won a title, it was a year after losing in the round of 64 to Mercer. I knew that was a stalwart text. I didn't even have to look at it. I knew who it was. Texas, since last Friday's win at Miami, I've had an uncontrollable erection. I've tried watching Zan Payne and Danilo Jovanovic highlights, and it still won't calm down. The only other remedy is to do a Google image search of Chris the Plumber. Leave Chris alone.
Don't do that.
Texas says, we've already had the Brom clunker. It was Virginia. Now we just go. You're right. So keep sending in every day. Texas, Mike and Roman, you see that Miami's wearing all camo. Yeah.
Terrible.
It's awful. I'd want to be invisible after last week, too. Texture says, what is this? Oh, everyone's sending me the Lamar. I am. This does make me genuinely sad.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I don't like this at all. I mean, it's one thing to say, like, oh, I would never root against Louisville. Okay, but you should be rooting for Louisville and against whoever Louisville's playing. Nobody's ever, I mean, he said himself, no one's ever going to love you the way that Louisville fans love you. I've been, like, they're the most loyal fans. They all became Ravens fans. They're all doing this. It's like, okay, maybe reward that loyalty a little bit and root for us in games against Miami. Come on, man. Texas, did Miami hang up his jersey and retire his number? I agree. I don't like this one bit. I'm not like going to stop rooting for Lamar or anything, but come on, man. It's my close personal friend, Lamar. I'll call him. I'll ask him what's going on. Did you see the picture that he posted on Instagram last night?
No.
It's him, I mean, looking a little bit high at like midnight with this food looks great. Like full-on plate of food from a food truck, looking super happy. And people are like, all right, is he going to play this? Is he going to play this weekend? He got cleared to return to practice, which is good. But, yeah, I mean, I can't help it. I love Lamar. I could never quit him. But I am disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Let's pick some winners for tonight. I know you're going to have some betting angles coming up on the Ticket Punchers from 5:30 to 6. We'll start in the world of college football. I mean, this is the game of the night, Roman. This is the game of the night. 7:30 ESPN2. If you're a true sicko, this is the night that you prove it. The only college football game on this evening. South Alabama, 1-6 overall and 0-3 in the Sun Belt. On the road, taking on Georgia State, 1-6, 0-3 in the Sun Belt. Loser is bowl ineligible. Who gets it done? USA, I don't know the reason here, but South Alabama is a 6.5-point road favorite. Who you got?
Give me South Alabama.
Cover?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they've been closer. I'm going to say South Alabama wins. Yeah, okay, South Alabama. I'm looking at their scores. They only lost to Tulane by 2, Auburn by 16. They should have beaten Arkansas State last week. I watched that game because I'm a sicko. Give me South Alabama winning and covering. On the NBA side of things, doubleheader tonight, Thunder Pacers, game 1, debut for the Pacers. OKC's a 7.5-point road favorite. Who you got?
I don't like that number on the road, but they're going to win this game. I think it could be close, though.
Pacers, upset. Injured Pacers get it done.
They cover, they lose, though.
Nuggets, Warriors, who you got?
Give me the Nuggets to win their opening game this season and defeat these Warriors.
I got the Nuggets as well. And then real quick, NFL, Vikings, Chargers in L.A. Who you got?
Give me the Vikings.
I got the Chargers winning and covering. Ticket Punchers up next tomorrow. Game day live from Hoopsters in Jeffersonville. We'll see you at 2:30. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
The Mike Rutherford Show was brought to you by United Mechanical. John